and welcome back to day 2 of the ANZ Team Champs at Brisbane, the Brook Hotel. My name is Josh Diffie. This is the Down Under Network. We've had a little bit of a change-up today. So my co-host Josh McGowan has unfortunately had to step up. Well, unfortunately for me, fortunately for him, he gets to play. Queensland have had a player unfortunately come down sick. So Josh, who was the Queensland coach, has stepped in to play the Death Watch list. So I will be by my lonesome for most of the first round until the rest of the world wakes up, and then we'll be joined remotely by a bunch. So I will try and do a bit of roaming today, just to break it up a little bit. I'll try and get a few people to come and join us for some commentary. But yes, at the moment you've got my purdy face for 2 rounds of Warhammer 40,000. So we are streaming Team WA versus Team ACT. So this is rankings 2v3. And so WA is on 3 wins. I'll get to that in a moment. And ACT is on 2 wins. And yes, 2 wins. So finishing up yesterday, we had, I'm just going to shut a door. Apologies for that. Yes, going into the final round, or at the end of the round yesterday, we had WA on 2 wins and a draw. They had a draw against Team Victoria. There was some simple addition issues. Both captains confirmed, and one of the game's results went from an 11-9 to a 9-11, which turned WA's draw into a win. It doesn't have really much impact on the top 2 teams, realistically, but it has made a big difference in the middle of the field, because Vic went from 4th to 5th, and so Vic is playing South Australia instead of playing Queensland, which is a big difference. But Vic are on now 1 win, 2 losses. Yeah. So if those that are joining us in the chat could get involved, let us know what you want to see today. I will do my best. Obviously, the final round we will see Queensland versus. I think no matter what happens in this round, we're going to be seeing next round Queensland versus WA. I think if ACT would have to absolutely thump WA to jump them at this point, but it is achievable. So if I bring up the results so far. Yes, so if I bring out the results, we've got Queensland and WA, and so you'll see ACT is on 2 wins and a loss by that 4 round points scenario. But you'll also notice the battle points, 216 for ACT and 330 for WA. So even if ACT were to thump WA right now, there's still going to be a large disparity there, and on count back, WA would have them on battle points, so they'd still be second. Queensland is playing, so 1v4, Queensland playing New South Wales. No matter what, Queensland, even if Queensland lose that round, they're still going to be either first or second, which is what I was saying next round. No matter what, it's going to be Queensland versus WA fighting it out for first place. So this game here, we have Mitch from WA playing Drakari versus Richard from Team ACT, and he is playing Adeptus Mechanicus. So if we just bring up their lists. Alright, so let's just bring up. So you can find all this over at downunderpairings.com. But if we look at this game, we've got Mitch's list playing Drakari. So he's running Urian Rakarth, Homunculus, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of 10 racks. And then we have a Spearhead detachment with a Homunculus, 2 units of racks, 3 Talos, 3 Talos, 3 Talos. So rack spam with 9 Talos. That's a pretty quick and easy list to go over. And Richard Hill's list is also a relatively quick one as well. So he's running Admech, the Cybernetica cohort, and he's got Cole, Tech Priest, and then 1 big unit of 8 breaches, 7 breaches, 3 breaches, and then 5 Castellan robots. Then he's got an Admech battalion of Stygies, 2 units of 2 Tech Priests, and then 3 units of Rangers, and 1 unit of 5 Dragoons. You can also at any stage find the details for this stream by just coming in and putting the command lists into the chat, and that will bring up all the deets you need, a link to show you the lists and whatnot on Down Under Pairings. So this round we have mission 4. So mission 4 we have search and destroy deployment. So table quarters. The Eternal War is called 4 Pillars. The Maelstrom War is disruptive signals. And then we have what else have we got? So objective placement. So markers 1 to 4. So you've got 1 objective in the center of each of the table quarters. And then 5 and 6, which effectively got placed relatively center of the table, will only be relevant for Maelstrom of War. At the end of each battle round, the player controlling more objective markers than their opponent scores 1 victory point, or 3 if they control markers 1 to 4. 1 VP is awarded to the player that destroyed more units from their opponent's army each battle round. Players can spend 1 CP to disallow an opponent from scoring 1 objective the battle round by using Signals Interrupt Stratagem. So this is very ITC kind of feel to the system. And yeah. So we've got a small number of viewers. It is relatively early in the morning. So we will, and the game obviously has only just begun. We will try and do, as I said, a little bit of floating around the room. Maybe give you a bit of an idea of who's feeling a little seedy after the festivities last night. As I said, Hayden Walduck is the Queensland player who had to drop. He dropped relatively early on last night because he has tonsillitis and a bunch of, I don't know. He's got the black lung. No, I don't know. He's sick. But you can't even blame it on a big night like some of the players here can. There are some people that have pulled up relatively seedy after a big night. So as this game progresses, I might just mute off and do a quick round to see what relevant matchups would be worth checking out. We've got obviously today we have 7 of the 8 Australian ETC players. We had 8 all yesterday, but of course Hayden Waldock dropping out. But we'll try and get some updates for you guys how they're going. And so I'll just mute off for a minute. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to be joined shortly by the lovely Nick Kelly that we had in round 3 of yesterday. We also going to be joined by member of the Down Under Network team, Jared from JB Painting. Mason Vason. Nice playing, tactical objectives. They are pretty awesome. I would agree with you 100%. And I'm just going to get someone to hand me some across so I can show you up close. So you get a set of 6 of these. They are 3-inch radius. Let me just open one of these up. So they're mouse mat style material. You can find them over on Down Under Network's Facebook page. So if I just bring that up real quickly. So over on Down Under Network's Facebook page, you can find a set for 40 Australian dollars of the Neo 6 objective set. So basically, if you're on that objective, you are within 3 inches of the center, which is perfect, of course, for the current edition, but it's perfect for streaming because we can look at it from the top down and see who is within 3 inches very easily compared to smaller objectives where we have to try and gauge or guess a little bit there. All right. So went through the list a little earlier, but there's a few people that may have only just joined. So we are right now. We see Mitch, who's in the bottom right-hand corner, playing Drakari with 60 racks, a bunch of Homunculus and Urian, and 9 Talos. And up the top left-hand corner, we have Richard Hill with Admech, who is running Call 8, 7, and 3. So 8 breaches, 7 breaches, 3 destroyers, 5 Castellan robots, and then he's got a Stygies detachment of 3 units of 5 rangers and and 5 dragoons. So in the chat, let us know how you feel this matchup sits. You can see already that Mitch has been very cagey with his deployment. Managed to do a pretty good job, I think, there of hiding behind a fair bit of... doing a good job of hiding behind those ruins, or the buildings. And it looks like I've just been joined by Mr. Jared Brehort. How are you doing, my friend? Maybe not. We'll see. Looks like Nick Kelly's also entered the game. Good morning, my friend. If you could just say a little bit more, I'm going to play with some audio levels around you. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Yeah, I'm liking it.
As well, have you got me coming through?
Ooh,
hey, Jared.
Jared, my man. All right, so let's just bump you guys up a bit. All right, so those that are in the chat, if you could let us know how the audio is coming through from the lads from remote, that would be grand. So thanks for joining us, guys. I've been last minute. It was going to be a very interesting stream. Last minute, I was going to be streaming by myself for the whole of this round, which is I'm not sure if you ever tried doing it before. I mean, most people that follow this have seen one or two of my drive time with diffs. It's a bit like that.
I think the drive time's a bit unique in that you're actually concentrating on keeping yourself alive as well as talking. So a little bit of distracting
Yep.
behaviour could be justified. But I have tried streaming on my own.
Of course
Funnily
you
enough.
have. Of course you had with the painting.
Correct, which has taken a hiatus, but hopefully expecting a return in the next couple weeks.
How difficult is it to do that? Because I watch one particular painter, but mainly on YouTube. I think you guys follow him too, Bohan Arts. He's
Yep.
incredible.
Yeah.
He doesn't stream very often because it's just so awkward. What's it like for you, Jared?
It can be. I guess I look at it as just I'm going to sit down and paint anyway. It is an added layer. I guess it depends on how many people you've got in there as well. If there's enough people in there getting involved in the chat, it's kind of not too bad because it's just like having a conversation as you do something. Where it gets a bit weird is when there's not much going on in chat and you want to stay engaging, but there's really not much to bounce off of.
100%. I was hoping. Look, if we got to like yesterday, we had 30 plus viewers for most of the day. Obviously, after the weekend, we'll go back through some of the stats. But it's a lot easier to keep the conversation flowing, keep people interested. When people in the chat, I'm looking at you guys, looking at you. People in the chat get involved. Yeah. And
So
you
how
know,
have we got on? Oh, sorry, Josh.
there you go. Who we got on stream? So we have Mitch from WA with Drakari. So he's running 60 racks, 9 grotesques, some homunculi, and Urian. He's in the bottom right-hand corner, hiding like a biggity bitch at the moment. The top
Duck
left,
out up, please.
top left-hand corner, we have Richard Hill from Team ACT, and he's running 8 breaches, 7 breaches, 5 destroyers, a robot, 5 robots, and then he's got a Stygies detachment of sniper dudes and dragoons. Oh, sorry, and of course, Call.
So this is
Naturally.
WA versus ACT, which I believe WA is currently in second place. ACT is in third.
Yeah. So today in round 4, we've paired 1v4, 2v3, like in a finals kind of scenario. Because there's a number of reasons. We talked about this before the event. The ATC having 8 teams and 5 rounds. We've tried it before doing just plain Swiss. It doesn't work, and the reason why it doesn't work is because if we'd done plain Swiss, then we would have had Queensland versus WA in this example, would have played each other probably round 2. They maybe 3 at the latest, and then what you end up with is the people at the top in day 2 have already played all the other people at the top. So now that all of them are playing down, and so what you have this weird situation where the person who's on like 3 wins going into round 4 with pure Swiss and this number of players or teams, they end up playing like 5th or 6th. So someone who's only like, and they thump them into the ground. It's happened every year we've tried it. So what you end up with is this, as I said, weird scenario where you've got teams that have realized they can't win playing against the teams that are going to win, and so they end up just kind of lying down and having a bit of fun, which is all right for them, but you then just give these guys even more battle points, so they just jump ahead. This format, the way we've done it, is right now, regardless of the result of this round, we've got WA and Queensland are on 3 wins a pop each. Even if ACT smash the living hell out of WA, that will put them on 3 wins, but less battle points than WA are already on. So they'll still be second. And Queensland will still be first or second regardless of this game. So in a nutshell, next round, regardless of this round, it is going to be Queensland and WA fighting out for first place.
Sure. And
Um,
is that the round likely to be streamed?
100%. Yep. Yeah.
Right.
So we've tried to mix it up a little bit. So ACT hadn't been on stream yet. I don't think. Maybe they had. Now I'm testing my memory. But yeah, we tried to mix it up a bit. But in the end, no matter what, we're trying to get a good game. Hopefully, this will be a good game between two of the relatively high teams. Mitch is a veteran ATC player for
This is
WA.
Mitch Byrne?
Yeah, Mitch. Yeah, Mitch Byrne from he G-Dub in somewhere in WA. I don't know. So, are you doing some hobby today, Jared?
Potentially at some point, yeah.
Yeah. Well, depending on how quick this game is, you should chuck that hobby on the stream.
I've come downstairs at the moment because my computer desk is set up literally next to the bedroom. And someone likes to sleep in the morning, so I didn't want to be talking loud about 40k and getting in trouble, so...
The paddle pop poodle has entered the game.
Poodle himself.
Mate.
So I just want to quickly talk about the two individual matchups. So I believe you've gone through the lists already, and I haven't... I missed that, unfortunately. But what's your idea on matchup of just list versus list? Because obviously a team event is a little bit different in how those pairings get paired with, putting lists up and then responding to those.
Yep.
And the lists are kind of designed to be very attack and defense centric. Having a look at the individual player results, I believe Mitch has won all 3 games so far.
Yep.
Which obviously bodes very, very well for him. So well done, Mitch. Richard, I'm having a look at. Is this Richard Hill?
Richard Hill. Yep.
So Richard Hill's on 2 wins at the moment. So look, if you would, in a normal scenario, just to place that purely on 3 wins versus 2 wins, it would be in Mitch's favour. But how did the pairing process go, and how did the lists match up?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, Mitch was the first put up for WA. So for those who are unfamiliar, I'll even while we're talking about this, prime time to bring up this on Down Under Pairings. So let me just show that. Okay, so basically the way the pairings works is each captain at the same time puts forward a list. So WA put forward Mitch Byrne and his Drakari, and ACT put Alex Rimmel forward and his Astra Militarum. Then ACT picked Richard Hill's Adeptus Mechanicus and something else. I don't know what that something else was. Put them up against Mitch, and Mitch has gone, I will take Richard's AdMech, and then he gets to pick the table. So you can see by the way, if I just get rid of that pairing screen for a second, you can see by the way he's deployed, Mitch is being very, very, very defensive. His list is designed to take a punch. I mean, the saves on those bad boys, the strats he's got available to him to effectively, bring them back, redeploy them, all that jazz. It does a solid effort of really sticking around. And one of the added benefits of Mitch's list being first put up is he had literally the first pick of the 8 tables. So the person who gets put forward is commonly referred to as the defender. The person that gets put against them is commonly referred to as the attacker. Defender then gets to pick the table to help even the playing field. And as we can see here by Mitch getting in some of these enclosed buildings, that's gonna do him a good job against this pretty much all shooting army.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just curious about that. So obviously they're not playing them as impassable.
No,
they're playing them as enclosed. Now, is that determined to the player, or is that something that the TO team established when setting up these tables?
It is quite. I don't think we've actually gone down to the level of defining each piece of terrain prior to the event, forcing people to play it a certain way. I think in most cases the players have discussed, and if they ask, judges will have basically said if it has a door you can get in it. Is pretty much the general gist.
I don't think I've ever played in a tournament where we've used the actual building rules or enclosed building rules ever. We've just kind of said, yep, there's a bit of terrain. We can either move on it or around it, and always ignored them. I don't know why. It's always
I think
been
it's
that.
also partly that not all buildings, the actual physical models, are designed to have the tops pulled off like these ones are. So
Yeah, well, this is the ITC terrain set that the Godhammer Gaming lads won at CanCon, or some of.
funded by CanCon and Eric Mathuris.
Eric, the man, the myth, the legend, Lathuris. He was in fine form last night at the Australian ETC team chat, just telling people how it is.
Good.
Well,
that's what you want him to be doing.
He's got a lot of credibility these days. It's pretty hard to tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, well, the only time you can tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about is when he says he doesn't like the NIDS list and he thinks it's no good anymore. But he can't. I'm like, well, tell me what beats it. And I'm like, well, I can't.
The problem is that even if he's right about the NIDS list, when it's Eric playing it, it's a different ballgame. I mean, the Grey Knights list isn't great, but we've seen what he does with it.
Yep.
There's one thing I'd like to say about that Grey Knights list, and after speaking with Eric for quite a while on many different tournaments and many different things, there is no way in the world Eric is ever taking a bad list to a tournament. If he's taking it to a tournament, you know it has to be good. You might not know why it's good, but he is going there to win the tournament, and that list is going to take him there.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He's not just going to take 1,000 points of absolute trash that can't win a game. But good on him for doing it with a codex that we all thought was crap.
Yeah, so true.
I am a bit upset. That Tyranid army that he's flaunting around there, that's mine.
What do you mean?
Those my old Tyranid models.
Oh, it's like, they're literally your models.
Yeah, they're literally my models. I gave them to him.
Well, some of them are. Some of them are a good old Simon's.
Oh yeah, his Tyranid collection was bigger than mine. Oh,
But
Simon's got a lot of models.
Mate, Simon does have a lot of models. But as far as how this game's looking and going to go, I would say this is going to be a relatively. I think for the Drukhari player, he needs to somehow get to that top objective as well. So this mission, for those that are joining a little later, is 4 pillars. So there's an objective in the center of each table quarter. So let me just... So there's one here, 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 and here. So basically you get a point if you hold more objectives than your opponent at the end of each turn. And if you hold all 4, I think you get 3 victory points. So it's going to be a big ask. I don't think either player is going to be holding all 4 anytime soon. But Mitch needs to get up to that top right-hand corner to really be able to compete in this game.
I'm just looking at his list. I think he might struggle to do that. I mean, he has a lot of models, but I think he might get locked down. I think all those tractors are going to hold him down and just keep shooting him off. It's bad. It looks like bad terrain for Mitch.
Yeah, I think if Mitch needs to, I think, send multiple units across this gap in the top right-hand corner to make it to the building in the top right-hand corner. Once he's there, if he can get inside, then of course he should be able to hold that objective relatively easily, and then not get shot off because he can't get seen really. So that'd be handy.
Yeah, Matt's just saying in the chat, he's got to go gangbusters to go through a lot of racks, and he's right. But I reckon he's definitely got the firepower to continue to do it.
We say that, but if you look at it right now, I would say I can't say for certain because there might be 1 or 2 models outside of those buildings, but most of those breaches and destroyers and robots don't have a shot on anyone. I mean,
right now, no.
Right now, I mean, we're already into turn 2. Mitch scored one Eternal War point, so he may actually already have models up the top right. Oh, no. Oh. So Richard looks like he's made a mistake. So you'll notice that top left-hand corner, no one's on objective 4.
Oh, he's not in it.
He's not on objective 4. So
Yeah, so
Mitch just got given a point in that first turn because he was on one objective and Richard was on none.
is that
Right.
Richard just being unfamiliar with those big templates that you have to have a model inside of it?
Yeah,
No,
he might be
it
thinking
also-
that if it's within range of the objective marker, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, it could have just been that I've just got a rules question. Talk amongst yourself, lads.
Yeah, that those objectives. Well, I don't think they really became popular down here, did they, Jared? I've never used them.
They're
I've seen
slowly
people
starting
play with
to.
them.
You're seeing a couple of them emerge at events. Yeah,
I think
they're interesting.
I think the first time I saw them was at Terracon. A couple of the SA boys had big paper discs with 1 or 2 or whatever written on them. Nothing fancy, laminated. And
first player
I thought they were really good. I just
Simon, I think, had
Simon
them
had
a little while
Godhammer
ago.
Gaming laminated discs for a very long time.
I remember Damage had them at Terracon one year.
Okay,
It's solid.
yep.
It's a solid idea.
Yeah, it's great. And I think Damage's ones were really flimsy, so if they were ever around a bit of area terrain, it would manipulate
Yeah.
around. It
Well,
was such a good idea.
These ones, they'll go around terrain. But the other thing, which I'm not sure if I can really, I'll grab a box see if it works.
And they're handy as drink
Oh,
posters in
yeah.
the house when you're
So-
not playing in events.
Like that's not sliding. Notice it's not sliding.
Is that mousepad material?
It's
or
mousepad
is it-
material.
I like it.
So you have this, yeah. So basically, the Down Under Network ones which are on the stream. Also, every single player here this weekend got, well, there's some ANZ Team Championships objectives. So basically, the 6 objectives we're seeing on the table. There is a set for each player with the ANZ 40k logo and the Godhammer Gaming logo, who's hosting this weekend, as well as each player gets a Godhammer Gaming ANZ 40k Team Championships. We
Awesome.
won't have too much of a go at the incorrect name. But classic 9-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch, 1-inch. And I did say to Simon, the one thing he does need to look at doing is getting them done from metal, because this thing here actually could do quite a good job of opening a bottle. But unfortunately,
I like your thinking.
well, I tried doing it yesterday, and I could start to hear it crack. I'm like, oh, no, I didn't need to. It was just worth giving it a go.
That's all right. So you got your measuring stick that doubles up as a bottle opener, and then your objectives that double up as drink coasters.
Exactly.
You can take your pack to the bar.
Paddle Pop Poodle has just raised a fairly good, interesting point. He said the game is over. His move forward.
I don't think he needed to move that far into the open like he did.
So the problem. All right. So here's the problem with Richard. He's damned if he's damned either way, because he can't. If he stayed in his deployment zone, he would not be able. Well, he couldn't shoot anyone. Even if he tried to go down one flank, it's still not good enough. I think he had to be aggressive. I don't know if that was necessarily the right move, but those Talos are now going to be able to get in. The racks. So there are some racks in this building that'll be able to just, so the bottom center building, they'll just be able to hop out and be used to wrap units. And if they can wrap those units, that's GG right there.
Do we know if there's a unit in the building in the bottom left building?
The bottom left-hand corner of the screen, I believe that building's currently empty. I haven't seen anyone leg it over there. Keeping in mind Mitch, who went second. Actually, sorry, there is a possibility possibility if Richards played it right. There could be range because the Rangers have infiltrate, right? Do the Stygies Rangers, they can infiltrate or they have scout? Anyone in the chat know more about AdMech than me? Come on, Paddle Pop.
I didn't think he had Rangers.
He does. He has 3 units of 5 Rangers.
Oh yes, guitar. No, they. Yeah,
They
I
scout.
don't know.
They scout 9 inches. No, they don't. Yeah. Okay. So, being table quarters, if Richard had put some scout, so the Ridgies Rangers pretty much on his line and scouted them forward into the building, and then in turn 2 swing around onto that objective, or even turn 1 onto that objective in the bottom left-hand corner, he could have quite comfortably got in that building. And be pretty much protected from the Talos, because the Talos can't go in there, but the racks of course can, so would have had to dig him out with racks. Racks would have had to bridge that gap.
Him with that extra objective per turn if he was on the bottom one also.
Yep, and he could have done the same thing for the top right-hand corner as well.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting that 3 out of 4 objectives, which are kind of what you really want to be on in this game, are under buildings that you can be enclosed inside. So it seems like that would be the winning move.
Yep.
If you could get in them
But doesn't
and
that
stay in
mean
them.
that he didn't need to move into the open with all the tractor robots? He could have just
I would have
danced around the outside and shot anything that came close.
I would agree with that. I think those tractor robots shouldn't be where they are.
I would have moved them down and hugged the building.
Well, I mean,
while being on that objective.
If you look at those robots, there's at least 6, if not all 9 Talos that are down there. I don't think he's got a good shot on them at all, except for maybe that top unit. They might have a shot on some of the Talos, but he doesn't have enough there. So he's going to be able to then dig into those 2, 4, 6, 8. That's the 7 man of breaches, and it looks like Cole's moved forward as well. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if, given that there was a small error with the objective in the first turn, is it possible that he is considering objective 5 and 6 to count for the being on more? Even though that would be a Maelstrom only objective, is that potentially the reason he hasn't gone for that one in the bottom left?
It's possible.
Right? Is it just the 4 corner objectives that count as pillars?
That's the Eternal, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't see why he wouldn't move them down and sit on that objective while still maintaining. I don't think it's going to affect his line of sight for shooting. They would probably still be in range of anything he wanted to shoot. I can't imagine what good they're doing being on objective 6 now.
Oh, we can see
unless he's drawn a card.
Yeah, we can see a
Maybe
lot
he's
of
drawn a
dice
card
coming
for
out now. Rob in the chat has just said being on the objective there, he gets a strat +1 to saves, which is good. And yeah,
Okay.
he's right. And they are Stygies. Is Stygies the cover Forge World?
That's the scouting one.
No, it's -1 to hit.
And it's
Good on you, Rob.
Yep.
So yeah, it could be because he wants to get that that +1 to saves. Again, I think the bottom left corner could probably have given that. He would have made it. He would have been in range. But if he's drawn a card to get objective 6 in this turn, that makes sense that he wants to start putting some objectives on the board.
It's worth pointing out now that the lid of that bottom center building has been removed. You'll be able to see the 3rd unit of Talos. I was wondering exactly where it was. I assumed it was somewhere in that general vicinity, but we have 2 units of 3 that are between that bottom building and the table edge, which look to be relatively protected from any line of sight shooting. And then there obviously wasn't enough space to hide the entire 9, so we've got the other 3-man kind of hugging the side, where we've got a unit of breaches up the top. Most of those breaches have line of sight on that 3-man. Yeah.
He'll want to take them out as well because they're going to get stuck right in next turn.
Oh, for sure. Well, he's removing
They're
racks. Interesting. Has
Lot
Are
of
there
shots
windows on the
too.
building?
are there what? Sorry.
Are there windows in that building?
There might be. That's a very good question. Unless they've does this army have any out of line of sight shooting?
Well, I don't know the rules anymore. What do flamers shoot? Do flamers still just shoot at whatever, or do they just have ignores cover now?
Neither. They've
If
got auto
three.
hits.
Auto hits.
Auto hits. So
But
auto
you still
hits
need to
don't
see
count.
them. No, you still got to see them.
Right.
Look, it depends on how they've decided to rule that that piece of terrain.
The only things that I can think the tractor cannons have got is they've got the phosphor things or the flamer things on their shoulder. That was it. But no, it would have to be windows, wouldn't it?
Yep. Have to be Windows. It's like, knock knock.
In which case I can
who's
maybe
in
see
there?
why he's
Can I
the way
shoot
that-
you?
Those dragoons on the left, they were measuring out before to the Talos. So maybe they can see, or maybe he's just trying to keep away from them. Not sure.
Could be just measuring threat ranges, because
Yeah.
those dragoons are actually pretty fast.
They're dragoons, not the ballistari, right?
Yeah, dragoons. The ballistari are more crab-like. They've got the
Yeah.
crabs.
Yeah, just having a look at their rules. Move 10.
Yeah, I said
That's
they're
pretty
quick.
cool.
They're quick.
And they can do a lot of attacks in combat. Those sixes add up. Maybe he's just sitting back looking for a counter charge.
Any idea why he's leaving all the back, Rob, gun shy? That is a very good question. If you're going to push forward the way he's pushed forward, I'm surprised he's left them as far back as he had. There is the redeploy strat for the racks, but 10 racks getting into that back line, I wouldn't be overly concerned about personally, but yeah, so I would have. I'm surprised those dragoons didn't move a little bit more midfield. To be once again, if you're going to try and use the breaches as some level of bait to bait out those Talos, if you want to countercharge that, you've got to be in a position to do it.
Well, it's already turn 2, and if they're playing the 4 pillars, which generate every turn, you just keep wasting turns of Talos doing nothing. That's making them less efficient. It could be a countercharge play.
Yep.
Hold them back and then just hit them when he's made a mistake and then waste 2 more turns out of them. That's 2 more turns he's not holding that bottom left objective.
So does Mitch have access to Vect? Because I'm looking at his list now and I can't see where.
He does not.
Okay.
It's pure homunculus covens. So Mitch's Drukari list, is nothing but racks,
Rax
Talos, and characters. He's got
Yeah, wow.
Urin Rakath. He has the Vexator Mask Homunculus, so and then the Spearhead for the Talos, and obviously the extra CP there as well.
Hey, you got a good game on stream. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. I'm expecting something to just explode soon.
So we're in, as I said, Richard's turn 1. All right, so he is charging the racks. By the looks of it.
building.
Into the building.
That's a bold move. I love it though.
It's a bold move, Carton. Do they have the infantry keyword? Are they allowed in there? I don't know.
It looks like they're moving into within an inch outside
One
of the
went
building.
in. One went in.
Oh, yep, I can see that now.
Yeah.
Actually. Maybe they
They
can't
do have the infantry keyword.
Okay, which is a little strange, but okay.
Well, they're just infantry. There you go.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because I'm not quite sure whether he's going to try and kill the unit or stay locked in. But either way, he doesn't want to be there when those Talos start swinging in.
No, I wouldn't want to be there.
Well,
And it looks like he hasn't killed any that are outside the building either. So,
I mean,
or maybe he's
the
removed
breaches
one.
do have the arc claws, which aren't. I mean, against racks, I don't know. It's not an ideal scenario, I don't think, but it's
Art claws only do stuff against vehicles, don't they?
not much does anything relevant, I think, against racks other than weight of dice.
That's true. But look,
Yep.
in that situation, you got to feed something to the Talos. To hold them back, you just got to give them something. And if he's decided it's that unit of breaches, so be it. If it buys them a turn, it buys them a turn.
I would normally agree, but given how defensively they were deployed, he would have had to really get in. I mean, if they decided they were going to go in for a kill, they might not have gotten one till turn 3, turn 4, just based on how defensively they had been deployed. So he's kind of walked up to him, which is interesting. But
You think
I don't-
he's just feeding him unnecessarily?
I wouldn't necessarily think turn 2 was the right time to start feeding them something, because that's only going to get them an extra pile in and consolidate move.
Morning, Targs. So, what do you think of our election results, lads? Mate, our country's a pile of poo.
Tony Abbott lost his seat to
Yeah,
independence.
Mate,
That's
that made my day.
comforting.
You take your small victories where you can get them.
Yeah.
That's comforting. How long is it going to take before they all realize that it doesn't matter what color shirt they're wearing, we're going to despise them anyway?
I think there was talk at some point about Queensland becoming independent, wasn't there? Is that still on the cards?
No.
I thought that was just the 40k players.
40k players from Queensland seem to be the best thing about the state at this rate.
I got models out to paint too, and I'm yet to crack a pot. I'm still waiting for.
I got to do
something to blow up.
sculpting today. End my life.
Alright, so the racks are hitting back against these breaches.
So it looks like there's 8 left. No, that seems like too many. There were 2 units in there, weren't there?
Probably, yeah, because they're 10-man squads. There's plenty of models in there. Yeah, I'd say there's probably what 2, 4, 6. I think there might be 9 racks left in that bottom corner. So the AdMech is using Styges for his AdMech battalion with the Dragoons, and he's got Mars for the breaches, destroyers, and robots. So what hobby are you doing today, Nick?
I've actually got my Star Wars minis in front of me.
Mate.
I'm sorry, not K's.
Whatever happened to those white scars you were going to work on? Feels
They
like 50
are-
years ago.
Work on? You mean the ones that I had finished and taken the arc? The one army that I actually completely finished?
I just never saw them, man. I
Didn't
went to
He
Arc
probably
this year.
played. He probably played one
Last time I
tournament with them and decided they were rubbish and never played them again.
I took him to 3, and then
He-
community comp ruined my white
If
scars.
Kelly lasted until the end of day 2, I'm proud of him.
Antonello's working on his jump comp today, I think.
Jump.
Yeah, you heard me.
Yes, those models do have a lot of details. A lot of teardrops, a lot of gems.
I've got
We've
got
some movement happening
3.
in that building as well in the bottom left. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if someone's looking to move into there. It looks like the Talos might be making a move in that direction.
Well, the racks. Looks like the racks are just falling back
Yep.
because they're not wrapped.
Sorry, Nick. I think I cut you off there. You were saying something.
I do have some 40k in front of me. I've got 3 more tanks that I need to do for Terracon, and then I'm done. Yeah, breaking your leg and doing nothing for 2.5 months, Jared. You paint a lot. I've got a lot of armies finished.
Come and take my leg. I'd love the extra painting time.
Come take my leg, mate. That's some dedication right there.
Honestly, there is nothing more inconvenient than not being able to walk.
So,
It's the worst thing.
Rickson Ray, can we just appreciate the bases on Richard's models? Our 5-year-old did those. Well, top effort. Top effort.
They look good. They look
Get
good
him
from
into the
above.
hobby early.
From
Yeah.
about, what do you reckon, Diff? About 4 foot above the table the camera's mounted?
Yeah, I'd say that. Probably 4 foot.
They look pretty good.
Yeah. Rob's like, I'll take legs over painted models.
Only
Fair.
temporary. Nick's legs
Fair.
have come back.
No, I definitely would have preferred to have my leg working.
Oh yeah, it's not ideal, is it?
It was bad. Just everything became awkward. Moving around, even like pairing stuff to eat. Just basic things that you do just become horrendously awkward.
So he's bringing the Talos round. We're about to see those Talos, I think, absolutely poleaxe and destroy these breaches. I
Yeah,
do
they're going
wonder.
in one direction.
I
very
do
quickly.
wonder whether or not. That charge distance from the Dragoons, whether or not they're close enough to be an effective counterpunch. Whether or not Mitch has the ability of wrapping his own models with racks. That could be another interesting tactic. So if Mitch charges those breaches correctly and manages to minimize his attacks on maybe the first round with the Talos, but also charges the racks in, doesn't do too much damage, keeps them alive, continues to wrap them, can't be shot. Those Dragoons then can only countercharge into the racks. That could be a solid play. Whether or not he's got enough racks in range to pull it off, maybe not. Because he needs those. He needs to get round to wrap if he wants to achieve much. And the issue is those Talos. The Talos by themselves can't wrap those breaches because they can fall back into the building where the Talos can't be. So he needs to get some racks in around there as well if that's gonna work. But we'll see.
Surely they're just dead. And he doesn't need to wrap them. Like, surely they just die now.
No, but I would argue you don't want them to die. I would argue that you want to have them alive, engaged, so as you can't then be shot.
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, he's not going to be able to kill the one. Oh, actually.
Yeah, you
He
just
could
allocate
kill
wounds
them
onto
all.
it. But he won't be able to get all 3 units of Talos in there. you can't decide to not attack with models that are engaged, so they will just kill.
Yes,
I think the blue ones have struggled
you
to
can,
get in.
You can, you can't. So you can't say I'm not going to attack. I mean, if you're engaged, you have to. But you can have it that only one Talos from each unit is in range. And
True.
those Talos, while they're armed with macro scalpels and chain flails, also every single model in the game is armed with a close combat weapon. So those individual Talos that are in range just go, cool, I'm hitting with my close combat weapon. Thank you, Paddle Pops. He's right there with me. Keeping up.
Yeah, that was
Mate, it's not
some
as,
fifth ed.
Oh mate, it's not as if Paddle Pop and I haven't been doing combat tricks for quite a while, and training together to work out different options.
That's right. You always hit soft when you charge, and then you hit hard when you're about to have a turn next.
Yeah, that was some fifth ed tricks. I've got force weapons in one hand, but I'm going to attack you with my bolt pistol this turn.
Yeah,
I picked up a stone.
And then next turn, you're gone, mate.
Yeah, some of my favourite scenarios though is like, all right, so something like Mortarion or Scarbrand. Scarbrand runs into combat with these two massive axes. You know, go in the first round of combat, puts the axes down and just kicks them. Just kicks them or pulls out a pocket knife and goes, just jab. And in the next round, I've got these axes. Whoops. Goes ballistic. I reckon Scarbrand should have a special rule. Anyone in range of him has to use their best weapon. No close combat weapons. But Mortarion rocking up with this massive scythe. You go, no, I'm going to hit you with my torch.
Yeah, you'd have to be a very brave soldier to actually do that in a real engagement. Like, no, let's just wait a couple of swings, guys. Let's put our swords away. We'll punch him a couple of times, and then we'll stab them soon.
Mate. I reckon Mortarion could do it.
Mortarion could, but you and me, nah, I'm sticking to my weapons.
Yep. So, the lovely red shirt that I'm wearing has the sponsors of the ANZ 40k champs. I meant to know what they all are. I don't. I know some of them. So we've got Godhammer Gaming. Not sure. This one's obvious. Bris Vegas Comics. And these schmucks from Down Under Network getting involved as well. So these red singlets were provided to all the judges. So far, we've got... yesterday we had Andrew Armstrong and Andy Dunn doing the judging while I was streaming. And pretty much I was only asked the occasional question. But pretty much every single question bar like two that got to me, it's in the player pack, it's in the FAQ. Finish the sentence that you just said to me. Like there was round two was my favourite. I'm just gonna grab the mission pack for a second. Get this for a rules question. So someone comes up to me. I'm just gonna find this mission. Maybe it was round one. Yeah, so round one. So it comes up to me and says, is this objective completely in the enemy's deployment zone? And I said, did you read the mission? Like, literally read the next sentence for me. Because markers are assumed to be completely within a deployment zone if the very center of the marker is located within a deployment zone. I'm like, why did you call me over? Like, every single question I pretty much had this weekend was just finish the sentence. Go to the next paragraph. People like to read part of a rule and then go, I know how this works. I'm going to read half a sentence and just get it wrong.
Story of being a TO, isn't it?
Yep. We were very tempted last night at the captain's dinner or the team dinner to just say, all right, we've had enough of these stupid rules questions where you guys just aren't reading, you're just asking us literally to come over and just quote you things that you've already got in front of you. We'll start giving out penalties, but you know.
You guys already copped a bit for being quite harsh with the penalties, didn't you?
Yes and no. Some people, we ended up.
The submission penalties.
There was only one penalty handled out in the end because of one of the issues you get with a long-standing event is there are quite a number of players that know the intent, and there are a number of players that go, "Oh, this is how it's always been." But then you get a situation where some new players come on and they don't know all that, and they read the player pack, and they follow the player pack, and people are like, "Oh, you did it wrong," and you're like, "Well, show me where it says that." And so there was a bunch of assumptions that the lists were meant to be done a certain way, but the problem is it wasn't really written that way. So people that are new didn't, quote unquote, do it right, but they did. So we had to remove a bunch of penalties. The only penalty that got given out was one of the players in a copy-paste effort missed in his orc list for New Zealand a unit of mech guns, and it was like 90-something points. And so we put that to the captains and said, "Are you cool with him putting that in his list?" The points were exactly what the detachment had the correct number of points on it, but the units didn't add up to that. It was clear that's what was meant to go there, and they're like, yeah, we'll allow it, but we gave them we gave them a 10-point battle point penalty. So only battle point penalty that went out from a lists. Josh Brody, I'm not sure if you guys heard this one because it got corrected by game 2. Josh Brody from Team New South Wales almost got, or did get, his team a 60-point battle point penalty, which got reduced down to 20 in the end.
It's such a rookie error. But that being said, I do remember some of the Vic boys at one event, and I think Nick Kelly may have been one of them, making a very late night call to me to see if I could shoot up somewhere with an army case. So it's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, so
that was CanCon.
Oh, mate. So basically, what happened was he has grabbed a case on the way out. A number of us have a number of cases, a number of armies. I'd say it's an easy mistake. It's never happened to me. But so basically, he's grabbed his Deathwatch case instead of his Demons case, which, for those who are unfamiliar, are very different armies. So round 1, it was agreed that he could proxy his Demon list with the Deathwatch models, but his team would get... it wouldn't affect the individual round, but the team would get negative 20 points per round he did it, going to their overall score. And we would do that at the end of the event, so it would, it's just an at the end kind of penalty. And in the meantime, we would try and get someone locally to source the models. And one of the Merc players had got in contact with someone, and they had an army to Josh by just before round 2. So that penalty just went from a 60 down to a 20. So it wasn't too bad. But he felt so bad.
Jeez, that's pretty rough. And yeah, being one of the people that have done that before, when you open up the car and there's a case not there, or you open up the wrong case, and you just go, "Oh, that is the worst feeling."
Especially if you've travelled hours to get there.
Well, that was the one that we ended up calling you up about, Jared. We left the CanCon army in my car before we jumped up in a carpool to drive to Canberra. And when we got to the hotel, my buddy who was using this particular army says, "Right, where's my case?" And I said, "Well, you put it in the car, didn't you?" He says, "No, I asked you if you had everything." I said, "Yeah, I have everything of mine." Left his army, which was my army, he was borrowing my army at the time, in the car. And Canberra is a really difficult place to try and fly into early in the morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were calling everyone, hey, can you swing by Antonello's dad's house, have a look in the back of the car for our army, and I'll fly you up here.
So did Jared? You end up flying up to Canberra?
I couldn't. I
Okay.
was in a situation where my vehicle license had been temporarily revoked, and I had no way of getting around anywhere.
I love that.
What
That was a very technical way of putting it. You lost your license, I'm assuming.
Suspension, not disqualification.
what we ended up doing is Waggers from CNC Miniatures. He was up at CanCon with his stall.
Check out the chat,
Called
guys.
an army.
Paddle Pop says that was the same year that someone stole my pants.
Yeah,
What a train
yeah,
wreck.
that did happen. But yeah, Waggers from CNC Miniatures was up at his stall at CanCon, and he brought his 40k army with him, and it literally proxied perfect
Oh,
to
really?
the army missing.
Waggers is a good egg.
He was a good dude. I haven't seen him in a long time. I know they're doing well. He ended up buying the CNC Miniatures brand, and they've been churning out a lot of stuff lately.
Yep.
Yep.
But yes, someone in the shower stole Matt's pants, which had his keys in it, and we couldn't get into his van.
Which had a bunch of armies.
Yep. That was day
The lesson
2.
is never go to Canberra.
I haven't
CanCon's
been back since.
it's a look. CanCon is a beast. CanCon is a beast. It's you've got to be a gentle lover with CanCon, otherwise she will chew you up and spit you out.
So how did everyone go last night? No one got absolutely wrecked on the sauce. How's Duck?
Well, Duck died.
Again?
Unrelated to alcohol though. He was, yes. He left at the start of pretty much just after dinner, and he's not playing today. So
That's not good.
Oh.
yeah, he's got.
I was saying that in jest. I thought he
No.
might have.
No, he's
himself
legit.
off.
Legit is sick.
That's no good. Bad
yeah.
for him now.
Yeah, but so what happened? Something. Look, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Something to do with tonsillitis and I don't know, super AIDS.
So just quick, guys, can we just look at these
He's
games? So
wrapping-
the Talos
yeah.
have moved in. The racks have gone up to the unit up the top, and they've wrapped now one model.
Yeah, so basically the racks up the have charged in against the 2, 4, 6. I think it's 7-man breacher squad. Could be the 8-man breacher squad up the top section, and managed to wrap one of those breaches. The Talos have charged in, and racks also charged in, and you'll notice those racks are inside the building down the bottom as well. Let me bring up the
So they've
the
charged the model in
fancy.
the
Yeah,
building.
so I did say that to manage to get that wrap off on these guys, we needed to see these guys here get blocked. So he's done a good job. Now the question is, coming back to our previous conversation, you know, are these Talos just going to get charged and smashed? You'll notice that there's the second unit of Talos, more central. They've only got 2 left in their squad. They're probably also in threat range. But whether or not the Dragoons have a big enough punch to do enough damage to take out 5 Talos, even if they did, they would get punched back in the face by the 3-man Talos squad behind them. So it'd be interesting.
Well,
Yeah, there's going to be a few counter charges coming into play, I think. But definitely getting wraps off on both of those units is going to help Mitch out in a big way.
So Paddle Pop said, "Oh well, Queensland can afford to play a man down. Conveniently, they don't have to. They had a 9th member of the team listed as coach, Josh McGowan, who was streaming with me yesterday and was meant to be streaming today. He said to me, "Do you mind if I step in for Duck?" I said, "You got to do what's right for your team, mate." Like, not much I could say about that, but it did leave me high and dry. But you two lovely lads have literally saved my bacon, because it was going to be hard slog speaking for 2.5 hours plus with no one on the other end.
Yeah, I've watched a fair few esports streams and tournaments and things like that, and when they put one commentator on, it's so lackluster compared to when you can bounce off a conversation. So yeah, more than happy to join it.
Well, I mean, obviously we've chatted about a lot of things besides this game. I think it's the thing with this game, especially these two lists. So one list is pretty much two units, or two unit types, I should say, Rax and Talos. The other list is pretty much, well, it's 3 units. It's breaches, dragoons, and robots, and everyone can see what's happening. I think that it's just coming in and chiming in about those maybe those finer points of what he would need to do to wrap that unit properly. And as I said, he's managed to pull that off.
I'm just having a look at the data slate for those dragoons. I don't think they can get through 1 unit of Talos. Just quickly doing the numbers in my head.
Mate, Talos are hard to budge.
Yeah. 5 rounds, paddle pop.
Yeah, 5 rounds. So next round we'll see the final round, Queensland versus WA for the win. Well,
So
let me rephrase that. Assuming Queensland and WA will 100%, no matter what happens this round, be playing each other next round based on how the current scores are. But it they would both need to win for them to be playing for the win. If Queensland win this round and WA don't win this round, then Queensland have won the event. There's nothing anyone can do to catch them. So yeah, literally it's in WA's hands to keep Queensland honest.
I'm confident in WA's ability to take it to the last round.
So it looks like we're seeing attacks being made.
So the question from the chat is, where's Crawl? Crawl is smack bang in the middle of the table. But I believe. Yeah, so we're seeing a few of these robots go down.
He's removed the one that was wrapped as well, so that's obviously good model removal.
Yeah, it's going to cut. So we've got 3 of those breaches left. So 1, 2, and 3. So I hope that those racks will be haven't been activated yet, and they'll be the last unit to activate to then pile in and finish off that wrapping. Yep.
I don't know if they have anywhere to fall back anyway, because it looks like there's some racks on the left-hand side just under the yellow-based unit. So I don't know if he'll be able to fall back anyway. But I would be curious to see whether he is attacking with close combat weapons or whether he's going in with everything they have.
They've got enough. So breaches have what, 3 wounds each? I think. So I don't see how he's removed that many breaches without hitting them properly, but we'll see.
Sometimes the dice just do that to you.
Yep.
Because there would very much be a risk there of accidentally killing too many.
Yep.
But maybe he's only hit with 1 unit so far, and the other unit will hit with close combat attacks.
So Jared and Nick, you guys are obviously watching on Twitch and coming in via Discord. What's the lag time for you guys?
When you were showing up the objectives earlier and putting it on the box, it was about 10 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe even a little shorter.
Yeah. Well, because I was interested. The reason why I was one of the reasons why I was interested is the setup we have now. The internet is solid here at the venue. The actual machine we're running off is just humming along beautifully. We've removed as much of the lag as we possibly can on our end, so I'm just trying to work out what is the Twitch lag. What is
Yeah,
the number that we have zero effect or zero
5
impact
and
on? Yeah.
10. I'll be curious to see how it works at Terracon, given that Narakort's internet is probably less stable than up there.
Yeah. Look, hopefully we can do something about the internet. Hopefully the venue has something and we don't have to just use a wireless dongle. But look, it is what it is. At the moment, the internet here is like 40 up, which isn't amazing, but it's pretty damn good. It's more than what we need. The Twitch is hammering along at less than 3 meg a second up. So as long as we can hit somewhere around that number and we're not throttled too hard by our internet providers, we should be fine.
Well, if you have to get mobile for Terracon, that'll definitely do it. It just won't be cheap.
Oh, mobile data. No, we've got
Yeah.
that. We've got that sorted.
Oh, then it should be fine at Terracon.
Yeah.
Thank you, work.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you won't be going to Terracon Diff, but I assume Adam is.
Adam will be there on site, and at this stage, the plan is I will be streaming remotely, like you guys are.
Right.
So
Awesome.
I'll be coming in via Discord. At this stage, the goal will be all the games, but we'll play a little bit by ear. For those that have come to or watched a number of the Down Under Network streams, we like to bring in people remotely wherever possible because it just adds a little bit of flavour. You guys get to hear a different perspective every now and then. Like we brought in Jim Vessel, who's obviously been dominating the US and Canada scene for the last little while, which has been on a number of streams. He was on our BrizCon stream, which we did remotely. That was the first one we ran. We did it with the Normal Blokes podcast. So they set up the rig up here. They hit go on the stream, and we came in remotely via Discord. It was we're getting to the point now where any event anywhere in the world, we should be able to stream. All they'll need is one webcam and the data to send it to us, and we'll be able to stream anywhere.
Yeah, it's been awesome having a few extra voices on. I saw that you've had Sean coming in, you've had Jim coming in.
Yeah, we've had
it's been awesome.
Mitch from Biff Pod, Best in Faction podcast. We've had at one point or another we've had the entire cast of the Chapter Tactics podcast. So we've had Pablo, we've had Pete the Falcon, we've had Abuse Puppy, and we've had Mr. Val Heffelfinger. So yeah, we've had a lot of people joining us in. The one downside with bringing international guests in is the time zones. So quite often we'll have them for, depending on the guest, we might have them for round 1 and 2, but we can't get them for 3 because of the time zone. Oh, mate, we've I think we're about to be joined by Mr. Adam Camilleri.
Told you I'd be quick.
I did see Abuse Puppy was online as well. So the time zones are a little bit tricky, but
There's also a bit.
there is some crossover.
Yeah, there's a big event going on in
US?
the US.
Yeah. There's 2 majors in the US this weekend.
Yeah. So the lads that we would normally have join us, they are at events themselves.
Have to deal with the dynamic duo.
What do you mean dynamic duo? You've been giving me nothing all week. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I love you.
I've been giving you 20s.
All right.
That's what I just got in 2 turns.
Well,
Fucking savagery.
have a seat.
You gonna go Roman?
Yeah, you got Nick Kelly and you got Jared.
J-Dog and Nick, how's it going, boys?
Good, man. How'd your
How are
game
you?
go?
Ridiculously well. I played Orcs vs Tau. Paddlepop Poodle. So my game, I played against a lovely man named Ben from South Australia. He had a pretty stock standard Orc list. He had 15 looters, like 40 grots to take soak for him. He had the triple shock attack guns, which are heinous as all god. It was like absolute balls. And then he had 30 Storm Boys, but he broke them up. So he had a 10 and a 20, a 10 and a 27. So he deep strike down the 10. So he'd move in advance to 10, blob up the deep strike the 27 behind, gets a big blob into you. Then he had 120 Boys and Smash War Boss and Weird Boy, Big Mech Shock Attack. Custom Force Field. So yeah, and I unfortunately have Hazard Suits, which are -2 to charge, and then I had a Forest that was big enough for me to employ 3/4 of my army in and then hide the rest behind. So he had -4 to charge me, and yeah, so he couldn't charge me from Deep Strike. It was a 13-inch charge from Deep Strike, and that was the tail of the game. He couldn't connect. I stood still, did not move for 2 turns. I did 2 Carrions, killed every single boy on the table, all the Storm Boys, and the 2 of his characters. At the end of turn, he played his turn 3, which was him just literally shooting his shock attack guns, and then he didn't do enough damage, and he decided to concede. Because at that point, I move in advance, all the Hazard Suits get in range, and pick up all the shock attack guns, and it's over.
So can we get a commitment from you, Adam, to say this is the last time you will play Tau?
This is the. I can guarantee I'll play Tau at minimum 1 more time, which will be ETC.
Adam, I was
that's
about
fair.
to say I am never felt so proud that someone's jumped on the Tau bandwagon.
It's so vile, man.
How
It's so
good is
bad. It's some matchups. It's just not a game. Like I played.
How are we back to where we were at 7th ed? I thought we had fixed this.
Look, Tau has always been that way, hasn't it? It's either smashed or gotten smashed. It's never been in a happy medium.
Yeah, like there's no real disparity with Tau. It's like in this format, I don't think anybody's given me a yellow score. If you know the traffic light system, no one gives me a yellow. It's a red or a green. There's no middle point.
Yeah.
And you literally only get a green when you kind of like ignore Overwatch. You can you got like vultures to clear all my drones really early, or you've got the guy with the Orion drop shits. That was terrifying for me. So 30 shots hitting on 2s for my drones, winning on 3s. Phenomenally scaring. How are we doing this game? Guys, give me the debrief on how this is going. Who have we got? We've got Mitch with the Drakari. He's got the carpet, yeah? He's got the rack carpet versus Richard with his Azmech. It doesn't look like there's a hell of a lot of racks left.
He cleared out a fair few in the first couple of turns. There are some racks that have been inside the buildings with the lids on that we haven't been able to see. But all the Talos started around that center building in the bottom of the screen. They've just engaged a unit of breaches in the middle, and this is what we've been waiting for 3 turns. We've been waiting for those Dragoons on the left side to start moving in, and we've been theorizing they're going to countercharge those Talos and save his breaches. So
yeah, so
as far as the racks are concerned, at the top right hand corner you've got 2 units of 10 that are close to that top right hand corner objective. In the bottom right-hand corner, you might not see them all from the top-down view. We've got 2 stringed-out units, which you definitely can see, but also there's 1 additional unit in that bottom right-hand corner, which is kind of hugging the bottom right-hand corner building, so you might not be able to see them, but they're there as well. And I believe then the models in the very, very bottom right-hand corner is the casualty pile. Yeah,
nice. So how many racks would you say are dead out of the 89 or so he's got?
There's definitely been
25.
Yeah,
okay. That's minuscule.
Couple units worth.
And what turn are we on, guys? We're on turn 3.
Yeah, I believe we're on turn 3.
So this is going to be a very close scoring game because this is a very grindy mission. This is very reminiscent of an ITC mission where you get points for holding more, points for holding all 4 corner objectives, things like that. Neither of these guys are very likely to hold the 4 corner objectives on them, which is really the only way to get a big disparity in the scores. So it's just going to come down to Maelstrom, I think, because it doesn't look like they're going to get many kill points off each other.
Fire army off the board with Tau.
Sorry,
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah, I know it's rude. The Iron Strider Dragoons, they come in at strength 7 with exploding. With the stratagem, they get exploding 4s on their attacks. I think they have 2 or 3 attacks each. I think they've got 3 each.
So
they have 3 each.
Paul was in that building near Objective 5, near the hammer. He's just hopped out and headed back to his backfield. That model that I'd circled earlier wasn't Paul, it was one of the tech priest guys.
Okay. So he's all Mars, is he?
He's got Mars for the breaches and robots and,
Yeah.
and that jazz, and then he's got Stygies for dragoons and rangers.
So that's really, really relevant versus the robots. Sorry, versus the Talos. That's really relevant versus the Talos. Getting those mortal wounds that go straight through the 4+ and ignoring the toughness is phenomenal. Because their strength 6
Yeah.
otherwise, versus the toughness 7, it would be really bad. But
He hasn't been able to shoot them yet.
Yeah, because there's no way Mitch goes into range. He must know that almost clears a squad of Talos by itself. If they double shoot, it deletes a squad. You can't do it. You can't take it. Also surprising that breaches. The breaches the ones with the power fists. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 units of breaches, an 8-man and a 7-man with the heavy arc rifles and the fists.
They're legit.
And
They're legit. They
Yeah.
punch, and they're hard to clear. Like you can't use las guns. The las guns do nothing, and they punch stuff to death. I rate them.
we're seeing that mass kind of breacher list all over the place now.
Yeah, it is starting to gain some traction, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
really
for good-
starting to get some traction.
And for good reason. Like so there's very few. There's very few units that boast both the shooting and the damage profile defensively. So think about Bulgrin. Yeah, you get all the melee, none of the shooting. You think about some people doing with Paladins. Paladins are a nice middle ground as well. But breaches are average shooting and average combat. And for a unit like Admech, they're a very good anvil.
Look, they do all right, especially. I mean, if you chuck Paul in the middle, giving them rerolls, and especially with the FAQ change, which doesn't come into effect for this event because it came out after the cutoff. But the fact that Cole's ability for rerolls is in the shooting phase, and the way they changed the ruling on Overwatch to count as the shooting phase, you now get a situation where those rerolls help in Overwatch as well.
Yeah, man. And that's going to be a blanket rule across everything now. Like Cadia just got a really big boost because you'd never be able to reroll the ones on the Overwatching with Cadia. Now you know it's going to be good. It's going to be quite good for a lot of armies. So is this the top or bottom of turn 3, guys?
Top.
Top of turn 3. Okay.
Yeah, Mitch wins.
Are they chest cocking?
No.
They're not. Okay. But it looks like they're tracking okay. Like turn 3 at this point is fine. I mean that's where my game was.
Yeah. When you tabled your opponent.
Yeah, it was. You just feel like an arsehat doing that to somebody. It doesn't feel good, man.
You just might be. You just might be.
Who would have thought?
What's the charge range on the Dragoons? Like, do they get any bonuses to that?
They do not. They do not get any bonuses unless he's got a Manipulus, which is the new fat, chubby Dominus, who gives him +1 advance. So +1 advance and charge, I believe. And I can't see one there. So they
It's
wouldn't.
looking like an 8-ish at the moment.
Yeah,
I would guess.
I think you're spot on, Jared. I think it could be an 8.
I think you'll find out in a sec. I reckon it could actually be a 7.
Yeah, because it could easily be under the 8.
Yeah. I reckon it's a 7 for the Dragoons to hit the yellow-based Talos.
I really rated this rack. Like when I was doing my scores against this rack army, this was something I was quite afraid of, because it would literally take me 3 to 4 turns to clear the Talos, and depending on the mission, that could mean I'm severely outscored without any way to get it back. Because if you play on a table like this, he can spread out, take every objective, be sitting on it, especially in those. Oh man, I'm not. I'm surprised that we got this table chosen with the enclosed ruins. It creates really swingy games, really interesting commentary because you can see how people interact with it, how people use it. But it can be pretty heinous.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the most part, the stream games we've had, I don't think it's the terrain has had a massive impact on the stream games. I think it's had an impact on who wants to be on this table.
Yeah, exactly right.
But I don't think it's had a real, like for example, the Vic versus WA in round 2. Lockie with his custode flyer list.
Yep.
Had choice of this table or one other table.
Yeah, he couldn't pick this one.
And Lockie was like, "There's no way I can't play on this table."
Yeah, that would have been really bad for him.
Yeah, the 2 Orions do nothing. He has no line of sight shooting. He can't enter buildings with anything. Like he's got a black captain. The black captain can't enter the building.
Exactly.
He's literally got to run at people with Trajan, and that's it. Same token for me. So I had the choice to pick at that table or the one that Jake's playing on again, and I played Jake in the WA round, and I had the choice to pick that table, and having 2 ETC players on the stream table would have been pretty cool. But I said, no, I can't play on that table against him because he's got those termites, yeah, and he has 5 dragoons, and we played Hammer and Anvil. He would have been able to advance 9 inches and hide his entire army. So no, move 9 inches at the start of the game, hide his entire army, make me go first, and then it would have been horrible. So yeah, I couldn't pick it. So it's really polarizing. It's really good to have one of those tables in the pool for the lineups for your pairings. It really creates some nice questions. Like, I marked this a green, but on this table, is it a green? It's really good.
Yep.
Oh, that was one of the things that we had to prepare for when we went to Greece. When did we go to Greece? 2016, I think.
2016.
Back then, we used to get photos of what the tables are expected to look like, and man, they were bare. There was no terrain.
That's revolting.
Back then, it was 7th ed.
That's actually
Terrain.
a tragedy. Yeah. Terrain was a lot more important back then.
No, I would say the contrary.
So terrain, it's like a switch in 8th edition. Does it matter or doesn't it matter? It either all matters or none of it matters. Whereas in 7th edition, everything, you got good play on everything. Like creators meant something. Go to ground, you get an extra save. Shooting through ruins gave a cover save, so the Ren doesn't matter. Like AP values and stuff. So I would love to see another layer of terrain rules added to the game. But yeah. So what's your perspective? Why do you think it's more important in 8th?
Because line of sight is everything. In 7th ed, it was either you have a cover save or you don't.
Yeah, it's true.
The way that cover changed your saves back then, as opposed to now, it's more of I'd rather just not get shot. It's about hiding.
Yeah.
Back then, you were playing against a guard blob that would generate its own cover save, or you were playing against a biker star that would jink and create its own cover save.
It's true.
Or you're playing against Tower that just goes, you know what, 2 mark lights cover you.
No cover save.
Yeah, I think also with the way vehicles earned cover, it was a lot easier for vehicles to get in cover than it is now. Now you kind of have to be hiding in line of sight or not bother at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean about the switch. It's either on or it's off for terrain. Like, can my army utilize the terrain? Yes or no. There's no maybe or this bit and this bit and this bit. So what are we seeing here? So it looks like we're definitely still shooting. I'd say for the amount of shots there, I don't know if very many things in his army that roll that many dice except for the robots. But what would the robots be in range of? Diffie, what are the robots shooting? Because that's got to be my assumption.
It's a very good question. I'll have to ask.
Because nothing else rolls that many dice in his list from what I can see.
And I can't see any units that are in line of sight and not wrapped in combat.
Yeah.
So the 2-man Talos unit here has 14 wounds.
So mortals, or did he go full Mars?
I won't ask that question.
It's 36-inch range, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, hopefully they measured it, because that looks debatable to me. But of course they freaking measured it.
Yeah.
Of course they measured it.
I wouldn't let you shoot me with that many dice without measuring.
Yeah, me either. I didn't notice them there, but we were talking some sweet smack.
So Adam, how are you?
Looks like he's gotten out of that pretty well. So from the looks of things,
he's lost 1 Talos, and
Yeah.
The other one's
sorry, yeah.
taking wounds.
I saw him just putting the dice down. I thought he only took some wounds on 1. So what were you going to say, Nick?
Jared.
Jared, who asked me a question?
Oh, how's the Vic team doing this weekend? How have your games gone previously? Are there any superstars?
Vic's struggling along a little bit. We first round was a chunky win versus the Mercs. Second round we thought we had a draw against WA, which ended up on recount being a loss by I think 2 points. Which we thought was a draw. It ended up being a loss by 2 points on recount, and then we took a loss versus New South Wales. So a bit shameful losing New South, but it is what it is.
You got touched up a bit by New South Wales.
I got a 20, so that's all that matters. Holding up Vic on my back like
Vic's got
Atlas.
46 points that turn. That round.
Yeah, and,
you got 20 of them.
half of them are mine. I'm
interested,
Morrisoli, who's
Merking for ACT, who I think is on 60 points going into today.
Yep.
He's definitely on 3 wins. He's playing against Tau and got seized on, and his dead pile is pretty heinous.
Wow. He's playing against a pretty stock standard, what you'd expect top table Taoist look like. 3 Riptides, unit of broadsides, 5 warriors, lots of drones. And he's playing the Talus and some Grots, yeah? If he just goes +1 to wound on the Grots, he picks them up. If he seizes, he drops a Cowyon, goes +1 to wound, puts all his marker lights on. He'll delete 1.5 or whatever the shit he wants. Like, he's got 6 Talus, he'll take off 5 in a turn. It's actually crazy.
I actually don't think he has Grots. I think his list is Talos,
and
Ravagers.
Yeah.
And Venoms.
And do you know what Ravagers do not like? Broadsides.
No, Ravagers definitely don't like broadsides.
Absolutely heinous, man. You can almost,
I've got this.
if they're hitting on 3s, you can almost kill a Ravager with 1 broadside with your re-rolling and +1 to wound and stuff.
I've got this warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
Pair up next round.
Sorry, what did you say, Diff?
That was Jared, but I do actually have. I mean, it's worth pointing out those Dragoons have got in. They're hitting the 3-man yellow squad and the remainder of that depleted squad. Obviously, you've got the 3 blue base or purple base, whichever color you want to go with there. That look like they're obviously in counter punch range. I'd be interested to see just how much damage these Dragoons do. I don't think they'll do enough, but yeah.
No, that's very cool. So what are we going to look at there? We're going to look at 15 attacks from the Dragoons hitting on 3s, exploding 4s if he pays the stratagem. So who wants to, Nick or Jared, who wants to run the numbers there for us?
The 15 attacks, if he pops the strat and hits on 4s, then he should get about... Well, that'll be 4s to do the...
2 extra.
2 extras.
Every 4 becomes 3.
So that means his 2s will hit, so he'll get approximately 13 hits, double up half of those. He's looking at about 25 to 30 hits. They're strength 6?
They're strength 7, man. -1.
Strength 7 and toughness 7.
-1, 2 damage.
So
they are autocannons.
Little touch up, guys, or little interjection. So I was just listening to the conversation. So they've currently got double checking the range and a couple of the rules, but the Vexator Mask is in range to attack. So
shit.
Those Dragoons, like, they're striking
Will not be fighting. They will fight last, and he might kill 2 or 3. Just so we know, Paddlepop has done the stats on this. They are strength 8, they're not strength 7, my mistake, but they are -1, 2 damage. And so he's of the opinion that those 5 guys pick up 3 Talos quite comfortably on the math.
I don't think they do if they're fighting last.
They do not if they're fighting last, and there's 3 less of them. So because the Talos are going to hit him on 3s, and they're going to wound him on 3s, and they're going to have, is it 3 or 4 attacks each on Talos? And so they're gonna
Should be 4 on Talos.
yeah. So it's going to be 12 attacks, hitting on 3s, 8 hits, wounding on 3s, probably about 5 wounds. He's going to have 6+ invulnerable save against those 5. He's going to kill, probably going to kill 2 Dragoons. Yeah, 2 Dragoons. Kicked something fell down. It's all good. Oh man.
So this is going to be a big swinging turn, I think. I think this is where we're going to start to see how the rest of the game looks.
That is a significant mistake. I think there's a very significant mistake on the part of the AdMech player, unfortunately. If he was unaware of the power of the Vexator Mask, he's about to be made aware, because it's going to be quite punishing.
It's also specific. I mean, the FAQ clears it up.
What's this?
Oh, they're just double checking the range.
Yeah, it looks like he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in, man, from what I can see. Was there any way for him to charge and not be in Vexator range, or had he insulated himself properly? So you look at that left Talos, yeah, the left Talos that's off to the side a little bit. If he had connected just 0.9 of an inch away from that one, and then used the pile in to swing around, because they're big bases, you would still get all of them attacking because they're within 1 inch of one guy within 1 inch. That would be how you could.
I think you could have.
Yeah, I think you could have. So that's quite a significant error. Unfortunately, that might lose the shit. That's almost game losing. We'll see what happens. So what's going to? Yeah. So those arc. So the punchy fisty, punchy fisty goodness Cadillac robots have made it into one. Looks like they've only tapped 1 unit of racks. But what's going to happen in exchange there? I think this is almost a bait by Mitch. Is he's going to wrap that unit with 4 units of racks, and they're going to stay there the entire rest of the game. And he's going to be tagging on 2 objectives. See how he's trailed out onto an objective in his bottom right, and he's got 2 units of racks in his top right. He's going to charge both those in. He's going to take the top 2 objectives and just wrap. He'll just stay there all game. He's got
and there'll be no more shooting for the rest of the game.
Exactly, there'll be nothing to shoot at. This could be a pretty masterful bait by Richard, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, Paddlepop,
Look, we
they
did
killed...
sort of say that we thought it was a little bit early in the game for Richard to be moving up so aggressively. Turn 2, probably keeping up till turn 3 or even 4 might have been a better option.
Just let his shooting start to take a toll. Maybe don't even move out until you get the Talos down to a handful left. Because right now
he walked right into the middle of the board, and that's where the Dark Elder want to be anyway.
Exactly right, man. So right now it looks like there's 7 Talos left on the board. So he's only taken 2 out of the 9. I don't think that's enough. I think you want to take him down by half. Take 5 or 6 out before you even move out. The onus is on him to come to you when you have your weight of fire. And he has to sit inside the buildings or he gets picked up with the racks. So I think he should have sat back for another turn or 2. But so be it. Look, we could be wrong. Me and Diffie call this stuff all the time, and sometimes we're like, well, we didn't factor in that little thing, or he rolled really well and he backed himself into a bad position because he knew he was playing a red or whatever. We'll see what happens.
He's also just spent the 2 CP on the Torturer's Craft on 2 CP on the 3-man squad that gives reroll failed wound rolls.
Saw that coming as well. So he should he should easily kill 2, possibly 3. Mr. Antonello was of the opinion that the Iron Striders, so the Dragoons were the game plan. The counter charge was too strong. He should have baited with one of the Breacher units and
I
counter
think
charge.
that's exactly what he did.
Look, I think that's what he tried to do, but it's just that he mustn't have accounted for the Vexator Mask. Either
100%. He was unaware.
If he had done this and the Vexator Mask wasn't in play, he picks up that unit. He picks up possibly 4 Talos this turn, and then this game is very, very hard to win from there. Especially if that unit of 5 is untouched, and then they just slingshot into those units of racks wrapping the breaches and just start picking them up at will. So I think the Vexator Mask might just swing this game to a win for Mitch. It's so punishing, man.
And Mitch is on 3 wins for the weekend so
Mitch
far, so he's obviously quite competent at using this list.
Well, you look at. I'm looking at his tendrils now. He's positioned himself at the moment. I can't fault what he's done so far.
The only thing I would have potentially liked to have seen was what's the strat that lets you deploy?
Sorry, Phantasm.
Yeah. So I feel as though he got. Is that during the movement phase or in the movement phase? Move, put somewhere else.
Black Cornucopians. So when it lets you for is it 2 or 3 CP, and you do it every turn. You just pick up a unit, chuck it anywhere 6 inches away, so 9 inches away from your opponent, 6 inches on the table edge.
Personally,
Dark Elder don't get Phantasm, by the way.
Yeah. So turn 1, I would have used it to redeploy a unit of racks into that top right-hand corner building.
Yep.
I think, but what potentially meant that he didn't have to is because turn 1, Richard unfortunately wasn't on any of the Eternal War objectives.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm not sure if he was on objective 5, but I'm not sure if he was aware that how that kind of was working.
Oh, okay. And so he wasn't aware of the 1, 2, 3, 4s being the only ones that really matter.
Mitch got a point turn 1 that I think he shouldn't have been able to get.
That he could have been easily denied, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Could have been easily avoided by just jumping on another one of the 1 to 4s. Well, how else have you seen the tables? Take a look at some of the games. Diff, give us a report.
Yeah, I'm just heading over to Pete's table because I'm interested to see just how many orcs Gilliman's gonna punch in the face.
So has he connected with the sense? So this is with Josh McMillan playing a quite strong orc list versus Pete Platel, the ATC captain. And Pete's playing 15 centurions with Gilliman and a bunch of sniper
Not
scouts.
strong enough, that orc list. I had him on my dream team and he's earned me 9 points, so McMillan's in my off the Christmas card list as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough. So that's
Jason Collins has been a disaster for me as well.
poor Jace. He's such a sweetheart, isn't he? Lovely bloke. I didn't do Dream Team. I was too busy prepping too hard for this event apparently.
Well, clearly worked out based on the results of your
So
game.
far, so good, dude. Can't complain. Give us a report, Diff. Where's the table state at now?
Just in the middle of the combat phase. Not interrupt too much just yet.
So what's connected?
So it looks like Macmillan's got most of his army in the back corner.
Yeah, so he's just bubbled well out of the 36 and 24 inch ranges.
Yep, and Pete is bunkered up in his corner, Sense pretty much bubbling around Gilliman. Josh has got quite a large number of Storm Boys, I think, over there. Currently wrapped around a Tech Marine.
Yep. Would have been his Thunderfire cannon. So,
oh, yes, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, it would have been Thunderfire cannon. So that means he was able to deploy without getting Auspex scanned by the Centurions, and then he's charged and wrapped off the Thunderfire. So,
yep.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes things pretty saucy, so I guess Gilliman goes in there next turn and starts cutting them down. Look, it doesn't really matter that much. If he's only putting pressure on if he's only got one unit putting pressure on a time, Gilliman can handle that pretty well for him.
Yeah, so there's 12 Storm Boys left that they have wrapped the Tech Marine from the Thunderfire cannon. So obviously those Scents can't just unload into that. But the thing is,
I don't think it matters.
Not with that many Storm Boys, Gilliman can pretty much get in there and punch them
Well,
up.
you charge a Sense in as well with rerolls to hit, rolling to wound. They roll a hit on 3s, re-rolling, wounding on 3s, re-rolling. They've got 7 attacks per squad. 2 of those units plus Gilliman, you wipe them. You wipe them down. So 12 is not enough for him to hold that, to make that a factor.
Make that 10, he just lost 2 from morale.
Oh shit, okay. Oh, so he must have Auspex scanned him. Must have been able to Auspex scan him. Because I think Macmillan's got 40 in his army.
Storm Boys?
Yeah, 40 Storm Boys. But the way he's deployed it there, he couldn't have mobbed them up before he jumped them. So he's probably deep struck with 30. So maybe he lost 18 to the Auspex. That seems about right from one unit of guys, especially if he was able to get some out of line of sight, etc. All right, where are we at here? Oh shit! There's 3. Back to our game. There's 3 Dragoons gone.
Those Dragoons are gone.
That's no bueno, boys. That is no bueno at all.
2 left.
Yeah, 2 left. So he's going to bounce significantly now off the
Where's
Talos.
Where's the other unit of Talos? I can't see him now.
So there's a blue based squad, there's a yellow based squad, and there's a single which has got a kind of a greyish cream base, which is just above to the left of the 6.
It's the only one they're in base contact with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently, yeah. So there's one left pretty much hugging Nyonya. So for those that aren't, he's dead.
So that's what he just did. He just used his 2. He just guaranteed a kill and picked up that last Talos from that unit. It doesn't matter now though. If he didn't trade his unit of Dragoons for an entire unit of Talos, I'm not sure it's going to make much of a difference now. How long
And
left?
it exploded.
Just insult to injury. So how long's left in the round? Any ideas how long's left? What time's this round rack up, Big Head?
That's a very good question.
We've got an hour, just under an hour and a half left. What I see happening here, there's 3 wounds each on the breaches. I believe it's 3 wounds or 4 wounds. Toughness 5.
3.
Yeah.
3 wounds.
So 1 unit of Talos slingshots over to the top right to the breaches, clears them convincingly. The rest will pop to morale. The other unit should go straight up onto the 5 and bunker there to stop the what are they called? Castellan robots from trying to get any purchase in this game, from trying to push up. Otherwise, they'll get counter-assaulted, they'll get wrapped, they'll get pounded. So just leaving one there on the 5 to threaten that while he clears off the breaches, and I think this is a wrap.
Yeah, this is looking really favourable at this point. I can't imagine Richard has a lot of things left to do to even out the game.
Nah. So even just losing the Dragoons, I think this was a wrap, considering what I assumed was going to happen with the racks next turn, as in 40 racks just wrap those guys, stay in combat all game. Because they're getting hit on 4s, possibly 3s, and then wounded on I think 2s. So they've got 3 attacks each on the breaches. So there's 6 there. There's 7 there. There's 21 attacks. Hitting on 3s, so we're going to get 14 hits. Wounding on 2s, so we're going to get 11 wounds. He's going to 4 up invulnerable. He's going to kill 5 or 6 racks a turn, and he can put 40 wrapped on that. It's going to stay there all game. And when one gets low enough, he pays 2 CP and black cornucopias, and they come back with 10 guys. How dumb is that? And you can just chuck him on the. Actually, he should do that. That's one thing he should do. See the bottom left objective. He should black cornucopias one into that line of sight blocking terrain. So there's an enclosed ruin in the bottom right, the bottom left. That one with the GH on the top. He could cornucopians into that, sit there for a turn, and jump out on that bottom left objective whenever he wants.
Wow, that's such a good table to be able to do that.
It's phenomenal, actually.
Yeah.
And table quarters. This being table quarters on this table, and with the quarters being essentially set, means that one guy does not get any enclosed ruins on this table.
Yeah.
One guy gets a fucking crater, and the other gets a crater in a box. And the crater in the box is infinitely better in every way. It's so much better.
So this game's been stacked in Mitch's favour.
And so we're just going into the bottom of turn 3. You see the blue Talos. He's putting the yellow Talos up there as well. Probably doesn't want to take any chances. He'll probably try and haywire out the Dragoons, seeing as they are vehicles, and then he'll charge into the breaches and clear them off comfortably in a turn.
I just saw the scores update then. Richard had 4 Maelstrom points from turn 2. Now he's only up to 5. And Mitch went from, I think, 1 all the way up to 6.
Yeah.
So I think Richard may have jumped early to try and get some Maelstrom points.
Yeah.
And then Mitch it just opened it up for him to be able to do that, didn't it?
But see, this is a really low scoring game. So a lot of people are going around telling people to make sure you get a lead early. Get a lead early and just try and hold it. Just try and do what you got to do just to get a 1-point win, because this is a really grindy game. It can be really close. And so maybe that's what he's been worded up to. He's been worded up, hey, this guy's got a massive, sprawling, table-controlling, dominant 4-up invuln list. It's not going to die much. You need to get a lead early and hold on to it. Otherwise, he's just going to snowball. That actually would have been my tips if I was playing against this army. I probably wouldn't have tried to pair this if I was pairing, because I don't think this is very favourable for a high damage shooting army to go into. Essentially, every shot they have is halved.
You basically half all your shots before you start.
Just you know what? He doesn't get his 4-up invuln. You just take half your shots away, because that's pretty much what's happening.
Yep. I mean, you wouldn't want to play against this list either.
I don't want to play against this list. I have game against this list, but I mark this as a 3, I think, out of 10.
Yep. And if you do, you don't want to play it on this table.
Oh no! I can't beat him on this table. I cannot beat him on this table. He just puts all his stuff in the boxes, sits there, and I've only got 16 SMS shots, which after seeing the tables here, which is seeming to be what we can expect at ETC. There's no way I'm not taking less than like 50 SMS shots, because you get some pairings and some guys will just literally go, I'm just going to sit in the boxes, man, and you're going to get a 10. Or an 11.
So how do you think these tables compare to the tables you would expect to see at ETC? Is it roughly similar amounts of terrain, quality of terrain?
Roughly similar. This actually was one of the best quality terrain events I've ever been to, bar none. They have done such a phenomenal job, Queensland, in putting this event. But I think there's possibly, maybe even too much terrain on these. Like, possibly a couple of pieces too many per table. But
no, this matches the ETC format though.
It does.
So the ETC have basically 3 maps, or terrain maps that they define as heavily dense, medium dense, and
they
low dense.
They define how many pieces should be on each table. Yeah, how many?
Yep. It's not just how many pieces. Actually, I think we've got a piece of paper. I'll find it. I'll hunt it out. I'll show you one of the maps.
You got the actual layouts. Yeah. Okay, so we looks like we're in the shooting phases. Probably going to be haywire. Haywire blasters probably going to the Dragoons. Here comes the mortal wounds. So it's the 2d3 mortal wounds.
Yeah. This stuff.
Ah, beautiful. Oh wow. Medium.
I don't know which one's which, but the black. What's the color code? So.
So we've just got the ETC players pack, and they've just told us the So wow, okay, this is phenomenal.
So this is how awesome it is. Yeah.
This is phenomenal, guys. Have a look at that. So table layout, so it tells you what piece is what, and what density, what size. It's phenomenal. And then on the back it shows you the layouts of what you can expect. So black's a ruins. So it's a 6 ruin table. That's pretty high density. These are like barricades for all like Aegis defense liners kind of fences, things like that. It's actually really, really cool. Like it's cool that the game is getting to this level, like this level of standardization. So you got tables like that, where
Yeah,
you got 3
that
ruins.
train looks a lot better than what we had.
Yeah, dude.
I've got-
I heard about your year, and I heard it was abysmal.
I've got photos somewhere. There was literally like 3 little Games Workshop trees on the table. That was it. 3
All right, so
trees.
there's some history around that, though. So the forest used to be, at the ETC, literally a bit of green felt, and it was just defined as infinitely high. You could see through it, but it was always obscuring, because there was this weird scenario in a previous edition that gunline guard could take advantage of ridiculously. There were other armies that could as well, but we're talking back when it was relevant. So what you would do is you would move into the forest and you would put your models where the trees were. And so as the rules were back then, you would remove the tree. So put it to the side. Then, so you'd move in, all the trees are now gone. Your gun line, like tanks and whatnot, would shoot with no obstruction. And then once they've all shot, those guardsmen would then run out of the forest and those trees get replaced back.
Yeah, exactly
So
right.
to get around that, they just said, no, this felt, it's always obscured, infinitely high. Back when it was like Vendettas were a more relevant unit.
Yeah, man.
Vendettas were getting cover from these felt.
It
was interesting.
mats. It was a silly way of life, but you can understand the thinking behind it in the first place.
The competitive mindset of it made sense. I mean, from those that are used to playing on actual terrain, the aesthetics was a little weird.
So I've got an interesting thing here. So look what he's done with that unit of racks. He's lined off the breaches with that unit. I would have assumed he did not want to do that. Like, that's a bad idea, because those blue Talos now can't connect. Can you have a look at the table, Diffie? Why is he doing that? What's the thinking there?
What was the actual question?
So he's got a unit of racks that have just drawn a line between the breaches and the Talos. Oh, I see what he's trying to do. So what's the guy below the 5, man? What's the model below the 5?
It's a Tech Priest Dominus or whatever.
Okay.
Like, it's the HQ dude.
Is he the fat guy?
He's fat-ish. Not Cole. It's the other guy.
Okay. Has he got stringy legs, or is he a pot belly?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a belly.
Okay, so he's a new Manipulus model. So he gives them the +2 advance and charge and stuff, which is what you tag team with the Dragoons to make them slingshot better. So it looks like
he's just charging the racks.
Yeah. So what he tried to do, he was trying to string out to charge into the Dominus, the Manipulus, and then try and get them out of the way of the racks. But he probably charged the breaches as well, and then he didn't make it to the Manipulus, so he's just gone into the breaches, and he's moved out of the way for the Talos as well. And one thing that I found interesting about what he did with the Dragoons is he took the 3 Dragoons away that were the closest. I would have thought he would have taken the ones at the back, so to keep the Talos in combat, so he couldn't fall back and do what he's doing now. Because he took away the front 3, which means that he was outside 3 inches of these Talos, which means they get to reposition, they get to shoot, they get to charge, they get to move. And if you just had taken away, 2 from the back, 1 from the front, or whatever, just left 1 in combat, they don't get to recharge in. They have to stay there, and he's getting charged by them anyway, so it was the same difference. And all he's done is give them a shooting phase and let them reposition and charge a bunch of other stuff. Looks like the blue squad's about to go in. He's left a gap there for the blue squad to connect with the breaches. Those breaches are not long for this world, gentlemen. They will be picked up in short order. V-Titans 1, welcome. Welcome to the Down Under Network and ATC.
He's from the US.
2019.
He's from the US. He's good mates with Mr. Basque.
Cool.
And
Sounds like a top bloke.
5 Titans. And him and I are going to have a game somehow.
It's 5 Titans. 5 Titans 1. What? It's V Titans 1.
V's for 5, mate. V's.
So V Titans was taken. He had to put the 1 on. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. V Titans. What's the story behind your name? And why is there 5 of you? But 5 times 1. Is there a multiplier there? Do you have one child? Do you have one child or 5 children? Tell us the story.
Mate. He's one of the guys I'm gonna finally get Tabletop Simulator working with, and we're gonna play some games.
I don't know if this is a thing, but the coherency on the blue unit of Talos seems pretty interesting.
You got the measuring stick out.
Oh, good. They're good. Cool. Because it seems big from here, but you can never really tell.
yeah, they're
It always seems bigger from further away. You know how it is. You get up close and you're like, disappointed. How you
Are there
doing?
any other games you guys would like to see?
Yes, please, to all of them.
Or here?
How you
All of
doing,
them.
Jake?
Every
Any
single
of
game.
your boys from W? Are you talking about any game on the? We got any NZ boys in the chat? You want an update on NZ? Go to Queen B's table. Go to Ben Clark's table. How's he doing? Because he
I'll
had
find
an
him.
abysmal day one, unfortunately. He's playing
I
the
would-
Armiger Helverin list. So he's got 4 Helverins, 2 Warglaves, Crusader, and a bunch of Admech.
That's a brave list.
I don't mind
he's,
it. I don't mind it at all.
I've just come over and I had a look at the table and I see there's not too much Eldar left.
Ugh.
And he looks at me and goes, "It's not great."
Give him a kiss. Or a tap on the bum. He'll appreciate it.
I'll do neither.
You're a bad friend. Who else have we got over there? So that's the Mercs versus New Zealand.
It is.
And
it is.
and I have New Zealand got a win yet? Or are these teams both chasing their first notch in the belt?
No, they've both got a win. SA's the only team I think that's got a win so far.
Fair call.
I think.
I'm going to get a signal from the WA coach, and you give us an idea of how things are going for his crew. But I can't seem to get his attention. He's distracting Pete a bit too much.
So at the start of this round, Queensland and WA are on 3 wins. ACT is on 2 wins. New South Wales, Vic, New Zealand, and Mercs are all on 1 win apiece. With very close battle points.
Yeah,
So
it's like the lower middle band is all pretty even.
Yeah, it's gonna be a. I think what we'll end up seeing here is I think WA will get up over ACT. I think Queensland will get up over New South Wales.
Yep.
I think Vic will get up over SA. So Vic will go up to 2 wins and jump back ahead of ACT. And so I think you'll see Vic will be in 3rd place going into the final round. And then they will most likely play, looking at they'll most likely be playing ACT or New Zealand.
New Zealand gets up, yeah.
If New Zealand gets, well, New Zealand would need to get up.
Yep.
But the points difference, like ACT are on 216 battle points, 2 wins.
Yep.
New Zealand is on 202, so like 14-point difference. So if they get a win and ACT lose, they would jump them. So it would most likely be Vic versus ACT if New Zealand lose, Vic versus New Zealand if New Zealand win.
I would love to play New Zealand. They are some good. They are some good lads.
So what we could, I mean, we have a potential. Look, I think WA and Queensland at the end of this round they're going to have locked in
Podium first and seconds.
Podium first and seconds.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the final round they'll just be playing to first and second.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's great.
It's phenomenal. We're going to keep them on stream. Yeah, we're going to have Queensland, WA. If they're first and second, yeah, we have to. Yeah.
Literally, there is this round is irrelevant to them being first or second. One of them is first, one of them is second at the end of this round.
It's just too good.
Even if both lost.
That's all to play for. That's so good. It's like they've got everything on the line. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because WA's never won, have they? WA's never gotten a first place.
That's correct.
Wow, that could be big deals. Looks like so. Look, he had 7 breaches there. At the start of the combat, he has. Has he gone for the last one? No. So he's had 6 picked up, 2 from morale. So 4 got punked by a mixture of Rax and Talos. 2 just dropped to morale, which is pretty bad. I think their leadership's 7, which means he probably rolled a 5 or a 6. And the last Dragoon has been picked up. So the board is now entirely in the hands of the Dark Eldar player. And there's no way I can conceive that the Admech player can get this back from here. Nick, how you doing?
By the by, Eric is playing mids and GSC, and looks like he's got the majority of the board.
When does he not look like he's got a majority of the board presence?
What games do you guys want me to see?
How's Vic doing? Give me an update on my boys. Because they're all scrubs and they're still playing somehow.
So I'm looking at Dan Martin versus Neil. Neil's up on points, but he has what looks like 2 models left.
Whoa. Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, from where I'm standing. Yeah, so there's more than that. So there's some scouts and stuff as well.
So what's that matchup?
That is so Neil has the Dark Angel bikes and the Shadow Sword versus Dan's Shadow Sword and Tank Commanders. So
Can you ask Dan if he went first?
Sure. Who went first? Neil got first turn.
Oh wow! There you go. I would have thought if whoever got first turn there was going to win that. But if you say if Dan's in a commanding position,
I would say Dan looks like he's in a commanding position, but Neil's up on points.
Nice.
So obviously,
Are they both running Talon Shadow Swords?
No, so there's one Cadian and one of Astroyan for Dan.
Neil's is
Talon.
Neil's is Talon, and Dan's is Cadian.
So is Neil's off the board then?
Neil's is dead.
Okay. Did he take a Shadow Sword with him as he went? Has Dan got 2 Shadow Swords left?
Dan only had 1, right?
No, Dan has 2.
Then there's only 1.
Yeah, they probably just traded out Shadow Swords. And there's nothing his Shadow Sword was going to do that wasn't going to result in that same thing. He's going to come on, kill one thing, get taken off. But at least he gets to do that, because if he had gone second, he just gets no Shadow Sword. So we're thinking this is going to be a 20. We just had the bottom of turn 3 scores go in, and Mitch has catapulted to well up. He's 5 points up now. And there's a mixture of 3 Eternal Wars and 10 Maelstrom. So he's racking up the Maelstrom cards pretty well, and he's going to be able to for the rest of this game now. This is going to snowball significantly from here, especially if he manages to close the gap and start getting charges off into the top left. But right now, he doesn't even need to. Mitch can sit on 5 of these objectives and just score at will.
So I think for the question you said, how's Vic going? Hamilton did a win with Deathwatch versus Demons. Dan, I think it's just going to come down to maybe cards and whatnot. But as I said, Dan looks like he's in a commanding position, but he's down on points. So he'd need to probably have a big. I think at best that's a middle of the road kind of points for that table. Like it's not, even if he continues to you're not going to get up too much on points just yet.
Yeah.
Looking over at Napier versus Johnny the Good Seymour. Johnny's looking pretty good.
Wow, Johnny was quite worried about that. He thought he wasn't doing too well because he has Adam Napier. He has 4 units of Deathwatch, and then he has essentially like 9 Smash Captains. So 9. He's got 3 Space Wolves, 3 Blood Angel, and 3 Dark Angel jump captains with Thunderhammer Storm Shields. And so he was really worried about them just coming in and just killing all his bikes, because his bikes have 3 wounds. They just come in, half a squad dead each. But has he done that? How's the board control looking? Like that's a good win for him.
Which one? Sorry.
The Johnny Be Good Seymour versus Mr. Napier.
Look, the board control. Johnny's got a lot of his army still alive in, like, if it was Hammer and Anvil, like it's right against that short table edge. I'm not, and Young Khan, the big floating dude.
Yeah, Young Khan.
The tornado dude. He's in the it is in the middle of the table fighting against some vets, but Napier doesn't look like he has a whole lot left.
The
kid's trainer looks like he's going to get up over Jason Collins. So I think there's a few wins coming our way for Vic.
Nice. Bit of a morale boost for us, unfortunately. Hope SA's got their chins up. The combo that Johnny has got going with the Solitaire and Yinkan is phenomenal. So it's the last time it's ever going to be like this, pretty much. But he Actually, no, it can still work like this. He slingshots the solitaire in, he blitzes it, and he'll probably jump all the Death Watch. Goes in, hopefully kills 2 characters for the fight twice, and then when he doesn't die in return, and next turn, like, the vets shoot him dead, Yin Khan pops up, heroically intervenes into anything within 3 inches, and takes another pound of flesh. It's really, really good.
Also, Clegg looks like he's going to get up as well.
Nice. Okay, that's fantastic. Nick,
Queensland
are you
looks like
still
they're going to get up.
Are you still here, Nick?
Yeah, just listening.
No worries, man. Any games you want to have a look at?
No, you covered the ones that I wanted to, hear. I'd just like to say that I always had faith in Johnny. Not just because I have faith in Johnny's skills, but because he's playing Pony Boy, and that was free. You can tell Pony Boy I said that.
Free 20s. Just give him the 20s. Can you have a look at David Teo versus Rory for me? Josh?
Oh, yeah, David Teo's back.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
That is a phenomenally bad matchup for what David Teo likes to do. He likes to play terrain really well. He's playing against an army with 9 broadsides. So terrain doesn't matter. He's just going to shoot him dead anyway. So I'm really interested to see how he play that.
Never count out Teo.
No, he can never count out Teo. He's a master of like terrain manipulation. And in events like this, where he gets to be put up, paired into the one he wants, and then pick his table, he tends to do well, man. So we'll see how that's going. I'm going to bet it's going really badly for him, to be honest. But we'll see. Because he can't charge that bubble. He's got no ignores cover, so no ignores Overwatch. Can't charge that bubble of 9 Talos, so 9 broadsides. And they put out, 72 SMS shots. Ignoring
Broadsides got tagged last game.
Broadsides got what?
They got tagged.
Yep.
So he couldn't shoot.
By what?
Not 100% certain. I'm working that out as I go.
So all of them? One squad? One dude?
I believe all of them.
Okay. How?
There's no drones left.
I'll say it again. How? That's fair enough. Is what it is.
Never count out Teo, man.
Never count him out, man.
I don't know how he does it. I've seen that guy win games with utter trash.
He's playing utter trash, yeah.
He does it to himself.
Sorry, you're going to say Tio's going to get a big win?
I'm going to say Tio's going to get a big win.
Awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tio tables him.
That is phenomenal. Where's
Wow.
Gilliman? Is Gilliman still on the table?
Balls deep.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. That is really cool. Here we've seen, I think, we're just in the shooting phase. All the Talos are still there. He's still got the 6 of them. He looks like he's just picking up some racks. This is pretty much it's pretty much over. Like this isn't going to go much further than this. I'm really trying to figure out if there's anything that can be done to salvage. But this mission, like I said, is so grindy that a 5-point differential now on turn 4 is massive.
I wouldn't mind seeing some of the real Horde lists and how they're going, because it does seem like something that they can really just dominate.
Paddlepop's just asked, how did you guys say Queensland versus WA was going? And they're not playing yet. It's WA versus ACT, and it's Queensland are playing New South, and it looks like both of them are going to get wins, both teams. So I wouldn't be too fussed. That's going to be our last round. Last round is going to be what looks to be pretty locked in. Is Queensland versus WA, and that is for the podium. Whoever loses that is coming second. Whoever wins that is coming first. Which is good, man. It's really good. Nick, what are you playing at the moment, brother? What are you doing with yourself?
Well, right now in my hands, much to Diffy's anguish, I'm painting my Star Wars minis. But I don't know if I haven't spoken to you in a while, Adam. I broke my leg.
Yeah, I heard, dude.
End of February, so
Skiing in Japan,
I have literally, yeah, fun while I was there. But with a broken leg, I have literally painted every single one of my armies.
Wow, that's amazing.
I painted 9 Imperial Knights. I painted the rest of my Guard army. I painted a heap of my Tau. I painted heaps of my other game systems. A lot of my demons. and I am planning on coming back, and I will be bringing my guard to Ascension next.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So my Tau has been permanently shelved.
Yep.
Much to my sadness. But yeah, I'm gonna bring back my guard. I
Dude.
just enjoy. I'm a bit over the whole Supreme competitive stuff that I got really into years
Yeah.
ago. So I feel like my guard is a nice balance between my opponent can have a good game, I can play some stuff that I like, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna some stuff.
Well, so guard is like Tau, but your opponent gets to kill things. So
Yeah,
it's good.
I don't. I used to really enjoy saying to my opponent, "Hey man, I'm playing Tau," and then just watching their faces go, "Oh no."
drain of all color and be like, oh, what am I going to have to do this game to get points?
But yeah, there's something about guard that I like. I like the models. I like what you can do. I like orders.
Yeah.
Cool army. You'd be very familiar. You've been
I love my
Long
guard, man.
standing guard
I'm
player.
going to pull out some guard soon because it's been too long between drinks. I haven't played them in 18 months, man, and they deserve a run.
I remember the Templars came out for a bit. That was a fun trip. That we went up.
Had 12 months of Templars, and need to diversify. Well, I've got my run to ETC, so I've got to go with what I'm playing for ETC, which is the Tau, and I got to get proficient at that as good as I can get. So that's apologies to anybody and everybody who plays me on Tau, because it's.
So you're coming to Terracon.
I'm coming to stream, baby. We're good for those. There we go. Terracon, Naracourt, 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Yeah. Coverage. This man. And a menagerie of guests. We're going to be talking a hell of a lot of smack. We're going to put Naracourt, Terracon on the map. 120 players. Major. Phenomenal. Excellent. It's going to be fucking great.
Are you playing or are you just streaming?
I'm streaming, baby.
Sweet.
Camilleri,
Yep.
Auspex scan. Can you Auspex scan your Khan? When she,
I think Auspex scans when they arrive from reserves. I'm not sure she's arriving from reserves if she's already been deployed on the board.
question is whether or not
If she was if she came from reserve and teleported in, or if she was deployed on the board and then teleported to the death, you can't. I believe that is correct. I've seen it ruled that way before once, but that's all.
Alright,
That's
I'll
all
see
I've
what
got.
else I
That's
can
all the
find.
back knowledge I've got.
all right, cheers.
Because she teleports upon death. Like if something dies, she can teleport to that position even when she's on the board already, or you can keep her in reserve and teleport her onto that position. So then she would be arriving from reserves, but I'm not sure what the wording is. If Auspex scan says in your opponent's movement phase that happens, then you can't because it's not in the movement phase she comes up. Usually it's shooting phase or combat. So yeah, it depends really on the wording of Auspex, and I can't remember off the top of my head. You still listening, Diffie? You're probably not. He's probably off doing the Lord's work. And by the Lord, I mean the Lord of Skulls and Warhammer, the Lord of Dice. Okay. Looks like we're racking. This is the robots, the Castellan robots, racking up their goodness. Probably the only thing they can be shooting at right now will be the blue or cream Talos units. And look, they're probably going to kill maybe 1 or 2 there. But that's it. And then next turn, he's probably just going to shoot him straight up into the 5 and just sit out of line of sight for quite a while. And look, from the looks of things, I would almost guarantee that those Castellans have dropped the double shot where they are, meaning they can't move anymore. So as soon as you're out of line of sight of them, they're irrelevant. Because the amount of dice he's rolling is absolutely obscene.
That unit at the very top left of the screen.
Yep.
What are those? They're the Castellans.
They're the
aren't they?
Castellan robots. Yeah, I wish there was less things in this game called Castellans.
You can Auspex scan.
You can. Okay, cool.
It's under the just GW Auspex scan FAQ.
Sick.
Anything that's removed from the battlefield and placed again can be Auspex scan.
Perfect. Did that change the outcome of that game, Riddle? So that was Adam Napier versus Johnny Seymour, yeah?
It was.
So what did they play it as, or are they continue to still going?
No, they asked the question and now that's been resolved.
Yep.
I can't see you in Khan, so I'm assuming that Auspex scan dropped a stem hit.
Her.
Her?
It's a her.
It looks like 2 of the.
Did you assume her gender?
No, I read about it in a book.
Okay, so 2 of the yellow-based Talos have been picked up. So
Well, that's okay, but it's still looking grim.
doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference. If those robots can't move, then the game is quite literally done, cooked.
They haven't moved all game.
So
And
you'd assume they
you-
planted their feet for the double shooting, in which
Yeah.
case they can't move against the rest of the game, and the Tellus just move out of line of sight. Done.
And
Done
I
and dusted.
think you would have missed this because you were playing your game, but on the very first turn, that objective at the very top left,
Yep.
Richard didn't have a unit inside the objective. He had it nearby, and it
wow.
looked like they had a bit of a discussion about it, and I think he realized,
He's
I
not on
needed
it.
to inside it, and he didn't technically have it. So
So it looks like those
Yeah.
three. Looks like the three breaches or destroyers. I don't know which ones have just picked up one of the blue Talos and done some wounds on another one. Can you give us a rundown on how many wounds left on each squad, Diffie?
The Castellans are the ones that just punched up the blue squad. And are you counting up or down? Okay,
So which
so
wounds remaining? Yeah.
the what, sorry? Oh. Yeah, so the Castellans rolled pretty under average. Yeah, so first roll was no wounds.
Okay.
So we've got unwounded Talos being on the blue squad, and then one with 6 wounds left, and then the yellow squad guy has 6 wounds left.
Okay. Can you find out if the Castellan robots have planted their feet and can no longer move this game? From the amount of dice he's rolling, that'd be my assumption, because he's been rolling like an absolute bucket of dice.
I probably won't ask that question.
Okay, no worries.
If he hasn't and he thinks it's a good idea because I said it, you know what I mean? Like,
I would almost guarantee he has, but use your discretion, my brother. I'm just gonna say it's a yes because of how many dice he's rolling. He should have.
they did.
So you should have
Yeah,
9.
they planted.
Yeah, for sure they planted, man. They should have 9 shots each, 18 each if they plant. It's actually crazy. What's 5 times paddle pop? What's 5 times 18? I can't be bothered. This is your shtick.
Jake
90.
just got a 20-point win.
Ooh.
Turn 2 concede. Turn 3, sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
And Lockie got with the Orions got another 20.
Oh, yeah. And Lockie got a 20. Yep. So yeah,
Lockie-
that's 2 20s.
Yep.
I think this one, it's a big win. I don't
This
know
one's
how
going to be a big
but
win. I'm going to call it and say it's probably not going to be a 20. It's probably going to be a 17 or 18.
Oh, I've just got to rule stuff.
So it looks like this is almost tied up already, and there's only been 2, possibly 3 scores that have been tallied up. Dan Martin looks like he's just walked over and given me a fist pump. Looks like he's just won his game. So that is another good score in for Vic. Yeah, what's up? Sorry, one sec, guys. Nick, talk some smack.
talk some smack. Man, that gets me into trouble every single time. I don't know why. I don't actually think there's a lot more that Richie can do in this game. There's not even really anything he can do for Maelstrom. He's just kind of going to wait it out. Matt, WA, their only draw was against Victoria.
What's up, Nick? What'd you say, sorry?
Matt was just asking, WA are on 7 round points. Where did they get the draw?
So they must have not
that was
updated
Vic.
that. So Vic was a draw at the tables, and then upon countback, because WA did some due diligence, they did a countback on all the scores, and they realised that they hadn't. So it was 2 points. That was a draw within, so you can be within those 10 points. It was 2 points, and there was a 3-point swing that wasn't accounted for. So they won by 1. They won by 1 or 2 points.
I think
they
Matt's saying that it's happened this round. I think there may be something's just not
okay. Maybe
complete.
something's not being completed yet. That's all right. Maybe it's some weird quirk of the formatting or whatever. Salutations from Canada. Scary. How you doing, brother? Welcome to Down Under. We are sitting here at the ATC, and we are watching Mitch from WA playing Drukari list, which is a rack carpet with 9 tellers, which will be right up your alley. and he's playing against it is a quite strong admech list. He's got Dragoons, he's got a lot of breaches, he's got a big unit of robots, he's got some nice layers there, but they do not have the right profile of weapons to engage with something an entire army with 4+ invulnerable saves, and so he's just getting worn down. This is turn 4, and the board is firmly in control of the Dark Eldar player, and it doesn't look like he can lose it now. Skari is playing 12 Venoms now. You savage. 12 Venoms are so good. Are you taking Ravagers with them or Planes? Or are you just taking just Venoms with guys inside? Yeah, Ravagers. Good call, man. I'm interested. So, are you playing without Doom? Because, of course, you are. And, wow, Shredders. Good. Cool. Yeah. Because I think the days of the Dizzy Ravager with Doom being over, I'm not sure the Dizzies are always the best.
Oh, Dizzy Ravager's still good, man.
They're still good, but they're not always the best choice for what you want your list to do now. They used to be the overwhelmingly you never take it, never even look at anything else. So Skari, yes, of course, Skari's a purist. He is an absolute straight up and down purist. He plays pure faction, doesn't soup, and I absolutely respect that. That's my jam. All right, looks like he's done. This is exactly what I thought he would do, because the Castellan player, the admin player, has planted his feet and double shooting with those robots. All he needs to do is walk straight up, hide behind that magic box, and he can no longer shoot, can no longer interact with this army. So what's going to happen here is just going to be some ossifactors and some haywire blasters shooting into the breaches to the left, and that's it. ITC has list Yinkan in his ITC list. That's fair. She's still good, man, and actually. I'm playing for Team Victoria, and one of our players is using Yinkan, and the Solitaire Yinkan combo is still very, very good. Looks like this would be most likely Haywire Blasters. It's the only thing in his army that's going to roll anything more than 2 shots at a time, because every unit has 2 ossifactors in it. We've got some saves coming in.
Matt was saying earlier that he was surprised at how long this game is actually drawn out for. How have you found the rounds in general are going, Adam? Are you getting them done? Is anyone
playing Tau? I'm getting them all done. I've got a good system for I've got 3 dice cups with exactly the amount of dice I need to roll. My 48 hazard suits exactly the amount of dice I need to roll for my 18 on the Riptides, and another one for which 8 dice in it just for my commanders. And so I just and I go
prepared. I like it.
None of my games have taken longer. So I've clocked all my games, and I haven't taken longer than an hour yet. I've had 30 minutes on the clock for all my games so far. By the end.
Good on you.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, because it's me prepping for ETC. Skari is coming to ETC. I will give you a big fucking hug and a high five when I see you there, man. But we're coming for you.
Hey,
it's Australia's year. What's up, Diffie?
What is your opinion on passive judging, in the sense where if you know you only make a ruling if someone asks you, versus if you can see someone's doing something wrong?
How wrong? How wrong are we talking? Wrong as in it's game changing. Like
yes.
I would intervene. From my point of view, I would intervene. Better change the game state now and be informed your players than have bad blood eternity afterwards, man.
Yep. All right. I might I will see. Hold on.
We know how bitter nerds get when they get wronged, yeah. Wrong and nerd like elephants. Never forget. So intervene early. And keep everyone accountable. Everyone gets on the same page. No bad blood going forward. You just move on with your lives, or find out a week later someone absolutely screwed you over, and you're gonna remember that guy in your head, and he's gonna be like just this. Nah, no good. Not a good
that's
dude.
the way things used to happen back in the day. It was the judges would never approach. They would only ever react. So if you were sitting there as a judge and watching, and you saw something wrong happening, you had to keep your mouth shut.
Look, yeah, I think if this community wants to be what it is, if we want this game, and this game is growing exponentially in a competitive sense, if this game wants to grow in a competitive sense, we want standardization, we want everyone held accountable to the same level, it has to be active judging. Like this guy said, you have to intervene, have to keep everybody accountable to the same level, everybody has to play by the same rules, everyone has to be straight up and down.
Yeah, I liken the competitive scene a fair bit to the Magic competitive scene.
Well, that's exactly the way we're going, man.
Yeah, the Magic competitive scene has always been that. It is very strict. There is very little leeway. But a lot of the rules in Magic are not left to interpretation like they can be in 40k.
Yeah. Well, I think we just had an army fall on the floor.
Oh no.
Deneath, I think, just table flipped his army. He doesn't look angry though.
Deneath does not get angry.
He
That
doesn't.
dude healed out all the time.
Doesn't frazzle, man. Doesn't fray. Looks like we are. So it looks like we're going into the top of turn 5, and look at the scores. So it's another 2 Eternal Wars racked up, another 3 Maelstrom. So Skari knows Deneath. Skari and Deneath hung out when Deneath went on a holiday and played in one of the Canhammer events, I think, up there. So yeah, Deneath is a lovely guy, by the way. He's an absolute champion. Yeah, Capital City Bloodbath is what he played in. I hear he did pretty poorly, just like here. Nah, that is amazing. Listen to his podcast on Normal Blokes. That's a Queensland-based, Brisbane-based podcast. Really, really good guys. Good banter. Looks like we're going into the top of turn 5. Look at, if you would take your eyes to our scorecard, it is currently 18-8. The gap is only going to widen from here. It's only going to widen. He's gone straight into his shooting phase. His mutant phase was his Tech Priest Fatty, Tech Priest Manipulus, has just jumped back onto his objective in the top left-hand corner, and he's just moved the breaches down to get some shots under the Talos, and that is literally going to be the entirety of his turn. He's not going to charge anything. He'd be suicidal. He's just going to sit back, get some more distance between him and the Talos, and just try and get another couple of kill points out of this. Yes, Gary just said Deneath got smashed. He learned a lot about us Canadians. You're going to learn some things about the Australians, mate. We come on the ETC, we come ready to rumble. Dude, I love Team Smack Talk. It's so good, man.
I think that was the best part about going to ETC is that regardless of what anything was said, at the end of the day, at the end of the round, you were there for a laugh.
Yeah, very true.
I had a really tense game against the guy I played in Hungary. Real tense, and some things did not go my way. I got diced pretty bad. Let's just leave it like that. And I was salty, but as soon as the game finished, we were like, we got a beer, we had a chat. You know, it was fun again. There was something about ETC that just promotes that, even though it's the highest level of competition. I'd love to go back one day, I reckon.
Dude, yeah. The thing is with how serious we're starting to go with things like ETC, ATC, you gotta put in a lot of work, man. You gotta put in a lot of work now. You gotta really want it. So traditionally, what I'm saying is, it's really not for everyone. I've found out. I'm not sure it's for me. We'll see, because we're taking it really seriously this year. I loved it last year. We took it semi-serious. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Skari, all I know is that your 6s are our 1s. Therefore, you winning will be the opposite in this hemisphere. He's right.
Yep.
We need
Upside down.
Yeah, we need to bring our special Australian dice, the ones with the C word on them.
I gave out so many of those.
We're literally famous for it. I think Big Head has ordered a couple of 100, which we're going to get off him. I'm just going to walk down aisles with a bucket, just like fucking throwing them handfuls on people's tables and stuff. And you're a C,
g'day, mate,
and
Australian, here you go.
And you're a C, and you're a C. Here's some dice, you C's. Can't say that on our channel anymore. Can't drop any Dan Martins. But you know exactly what I'm saying, guys. Is that so Val Heffelfinger, who's been a regular on our stream, he's joined a new team called the See You Next Tuesdays. It's just such a good name. Such a good name for a team, man. They spell the C with S-double-E though, so it's not too erroneous. I like it a lot. Looks like that is the end of that turn. We're going into the bottom of turn 5. So this is going to be wrapped up in probably the next 15 minutes, guys. To be honest, because there's
how much longer is left in the round?
We'll get a quick grab. I think it ends at 12 o'clock, or is it 12:10? So I think they've got plenty of time. I think they've got 40 or 50 minutes left. And there's really nothing. They're just going through the motions at this point. So we could see the game end at the end of this turn, because this is variable game length for ETC. And look, he's just drawing his 4 cards. He's not even going to shoot this turn. He's barely going to interact with the other opponent's army. He's just going to do what he's got to do to pick up some cards and extend that lead, which is still 10 points. So this is his. He hasn't even had the turn yet, and he scored another 2 points, which would have to be a defend objective card to store it in your opponent's turn. So, and I like what he does here. See what he's done there? He deployed his 4 cards out, and he flipped one over. So that's something that I do. You flip one over, so you got 4 cards there, and just to take, because you can only score 3 a turn. You look at the 3 that you're most likely to score, flip the 4th one over, take it out of the
Just
equation,
ignore it.
and get your focus on those 3.
So for those playing at home, the final decision on whether or not we are going to intervene, we've decided not to intervene because the incorrect ruling was objective placement too late in the game to reset the clock.
Okay. Is that the one that Big Head approached me about?
Yeah, objectives are for ETC have to be on the ground.
On the ground. So someone has placed objectives on the top of buildings.
Yeah.
And because they have a fly-based army, they were able to take advantage of that against
against a night-based army.
A night-based army. So that's just auto winning pretty much.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
you can't. You'd have to re-rack and play the game again now from here.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Are objectives not infinitely high anymore?
No, they're a dome.
No.
They're a dome. So 3 inches from the objective in any direction, a literal 3 inches in any direction. So if you're standing directly above it, like a 3 inches directly above it, you can hold it.
Yep.
But otherwise, yeah, you don't. It's like a dome.
And always perfectly flat?
Yes, always perfectly flat, if at all possible. And
Yep.
then if you just treat it as flat. Scary has just hosted us. Thank you so much, brother. I much appreciate it. We figure Canada is our cold cousin. We are your hotter cousin. And by that, we both mean we are more attractive and we are physically warmer here. And you guys are our cold, lovely cousins. Nothing but love for good old JV. I think Jim Vessel's on your team. Jim Vessel's on your team. He's a regular on here as well. And Peter the Falcon. Shit, we got like 3 regular Canadians on here. We'll get you on sometime, Scary, if you're up for it. You come do some shoutcasting with us. I'll see what Diffy's got lined up for the next game. Are you going to stick around, Nick, for the next game?
Yes. I am sitting down and painting all day, so I'm definitely going to be
dude.
tuning in.
Shit, yeah. Scary, I'll word up Diffy, and if you're interested, man, and if you want to, jump in the next game, man. Scary's bail, guys. Peace out, Scary. Thanks for your
I'm sure it's quite late over there, eh?
It is probably quite late, man. Thanks, dude. Thanks for coming in. Catch you around the traps, and if I don't catch you before, I'll see you in Serbia. Looks like a couple of Talos have been picked up. Looks like that Breacher has charged some racks inside that building. Probably just did that to get out of line of sight. Yeah, dude, we would love to have you involved, Scary, if you would ever love to be. I will hit you up on Facebook if you can't do anything today. Add you to our little group chat we've got going for the guys who want to be involved. And, man, chuck you in the rotation. You can jump in, start talking some sweet smack with us. Kids, man. Got to do what you got to do. All right. Peace out, Scary. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Love you, Scary.
What do we got here? They just rolled to see if the game ended, and the game ended. So we'll get the final tally for kill points chucked in, because they'll just chuck the differential in. And yeah, it looks like a convincing win for the Dark Eldar. Yeah, convincing win for the Dark Eldar. Not much after turn 3. It was decided there was not much that the AdMech player could do to win that game from that point. And man, yep. Well, we'll get a final tally of this score. We just got to call it. There's 15 minutes left in the round, so these guys went pretty well. So that's Rix and Ray. I would assume that's a relation of Rich's. Yeah, unfortunately didn't go his way in this game. I would say the table was heavily not in his favour.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
Yeah, the heavily not in his favour. His deployment was heavily not in his favour. Not getting the one with the box. So if he had gotten the one with the box, meaning all the Dark Eldar had to be deployed on the table, not in ruins, not out of line of sight, and he went first, that would have been a significantly different game.
Actually, yeah, if literally they had opposite deployment zones,
different
that
game.
Is
completely different, man. But yeah, him getting the better deployment. Him getting looks like about the. I don't think there's much. It's much of a muchness with the objectives. Looks pretty even. If anything, it is skewed a little bit further towards the Dark Eldar side as well. So look, I think he's got nothing to be ashamed of. He hasn't taken a shellacking. It's only a 10-point difference. So not a huge amount in it. Literally, pretty much this table was just a 10-point swing. And Richard just copped it, unfortunately. Looks like he took it like a champ. They had a good handshake. They had a good discussion afterwards. So that's it, guys. Diffy, I'll just see what Diffie wants me to do. Does Diffie want me to hang around?
I'll be there in a sec.
Yep, we'll get Diffie back on here. We'll close this out. He'll give us a final update on this round, how it is going, and we will close this baby out and see you guys next time. Hello, Richard's. Sorry, hello. Yeah, Richard's kids. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. So I think, are you Richard's partner or a relation? Or, thank you for joining. Richard, he played a good game. It was a bit of an uphill battle, unfortunately. I hope you're proud of you. Hope you're proud of your guy. He did a good job, and he's been doing a good job this event.
Also, WA's one of the top
The
teams.
WA is one of the top teams. They've been tipped to podium quite convincingly.
Oh, well, wife in October.
Shit, sorry, I jumped the gun. But yeah, absolutely, congratulations, guys. That's lovely. All right, Diffie, last update. Tell us, give us the lowdown.
Alright, so you can find all the scores on
Whoop, whoop.
you can find all the scores on Down Under Pairings. Let me just bring.
I'm the perfect height to stand up here. You're like 2 inches taller than me, and it's just a pain in the ass for you.
So far, WA have not entered all their scores, but they've already got the win. Queensland versus New South Wales is looking relatively close at the moment, but Queensland will get the job done. And Vic versus SA will be, I think, a big win for Vic. New Zealand look like they're going to get up over Mercs, although there's still quite a few games going with left, so we should see those come through shortly. We're going to wrap it up now so we can go bite to eat because there's only a half-hour break, which is rough. So peace. We'll be back in 45-ish minutes, so about 12:15.
With the last round of this event. Nick, thank you for joining us. You'll hear from Nick again when you come back. I will try and do my best to poleaxe again. I'll apologize to my opponent. I'm going to go to 11 out of 10 because I've got to get on stream. All right, I'll do my best, guys.
Sure they'll understand.
They'll forgive me. I'll buy them like a jug of beer afterwards. It'll be fine.